And
Shalom Israel. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Hope everybody's doing well today. We're back at it. Shabbat Shalom. We're about to send our prayers up, give the Most High His due and His praise, and get started today for the Sabbath. You want to say something? I'm sorry.
No, I was going to tell some karate or something. But shalom everybody online as well. And shalom to everybody also in the class.
Yeah, so we're going to send our prayers up, and then we'll get things situated. Imagine, Wapanya, just us. I know some mistakes. There's a couple. Barak Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
Barak Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
Ha Netan Lanawa. Awar. Zayawam. The water.
Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua that gives to us like this day. Thanks, so be it.
Barak Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
Barak Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
Ha Netan Lanawa. Rayach. Nayachacha. The water.
Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua that gives to us sweet savor. Thank you, so be it.
Imagine Wapanya Yerushalayim.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Barak Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
Barak Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Shabbat.
Shalom. The water.
Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua that gives to us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121. Anasha.
Ayanyam.
Ahoya. Ma'aya. Yabu'ah. Isaiah. Yabu'ah. I'm sorry. Isaiah. Yabu'ah. Ma. Yahweh. Sha'aisha. Shemayim. Ma'aratazah. La'ah. Yanathan. Lamawat. Regalia. Yala'ah. Nawam. Shashamaya. Hana. Yala'ah. Nawam. Wala'ah. Yishan. Shashamamar. Yashrala. Yahweh. Shemariah. Yahweh. Cesaria. Ayo. Yanyamya. Yad. Hashemah. Yala'ah. Hakaya. Bayawam. Wala'ah. Halabanah. Balayala. Yahweh. Yashimoya. Makol. Rad. Yashimor. Napasha. Yahweh. Yashimor. Hawalakia. Wabu'aya. Ma'aitha.
Aman. Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasha'Allah shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. Amen.
Israelite Credo. Shema Yasharallah. Yahweh. Alahayim Nawah. Yahweh. Achad. Shema Yasharallah. Yahweh. Alahayim Nawah. Yahweh. Achad. Shema Yasharallah. Yahweh. Alahayim Nawah. Yahweh. Achad.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord.
Lord's Prayer. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Wadash. Hayat. Shamkat. Yahweh. Malak Watka. Taba'at. Ratazaka. Hayat. Aisha. Ma'aratazah. Kawak. Hayat. Shemayim. Netan Lanawa. Wacham. Kol. Yawam. Wasalakano. Kawakino. Kasalakano. Wala'ah. Tabi'ano. Manasawat. Abo. Awashano. Mayan. Hayat. Laka. Amalakwa. Wahatapa'arat. I love you.
Amen. Lord's Prayer in English. Matthew chapter 6 verse 9. After this manner therefore pray ye. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. 10 Commandments.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
Number 2.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4.
Zakar,
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Number 5.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Number 6.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Number 10.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the law.
Israel, Yeshabim.
Israel, take seat. Slide this in just a little bit.
Yeah, I got too much stuff going on. I'll move this up.
Well, Commencement with Jonathan Part 2.
Yeah. Okay. Apologies, man. It's hogging up your space. Okay. Once again, real quick. Shout out. I need everybody keep it on a little bit. But once again, shout out Kawakab and his congregation in Guatemala and their brothers and sisters that they teach all around the world. Cali to Atlanta, and their brothers and sisters that they teach in Central and South America. Hope everybody is doing well today. Also, SOW family, Kazaki in Virginia, Quatazop in Houston, and Zion in Rochester, New York. Shabbat Shalom. Hope everybody's doing well, keeping the fight. We're going to love to see y'all in May.
No class on Monday, right?
Oh, yeah. No class on Monday. And just a quick recap. We're having the Passover May 2nd, but we're going to celebrate it. The actual holiday is March 31st at sundown. That's the actual start of the Passover. We're going to do it the month afterwards and finish things up in May. But the actual Passover is March 31st. So as a unit, we're going to sit back here and follow that day and the unleavened bread for that week of March 31st through the next week. But we're going to come together in Houston May 2nd. Just for the record so everybody understands. And also to your point, Shams One, on Monday we will not have class. We will be celebrating Purim. We're going to come together on the first day of Purim. I'm not sure if we're going to have 2 gatherings in a row, but we're going to at least have one. Well, Purim is for 2 days. It's a 2-day celebration. But we're going to have it on Monday. So we won't have class on Monday, and Shams One to keep it going on Wednesday on his regularly scheduled date. But I hope everybody's doing well today. Listen, in case y'all didn't know, Iran and the U.S. are literally in war. Bombs dropping. Iran has hit United States military bases. It's on. Iran's getting bombed. That's a major sign. If we have time, we'll try to squeeze it into the end of the class. But that's a major sign of things to come. things aren't going to sit back here and get any lighter. It's going to escalate. It's going to escalate, and these wars in the Middle East are going to keep intensifying. As these wars in Europe and Ukraine are going to keep intensifying. This is getting bad. Why am I saying that? Is my message today about being a better doomsday prepper? Listen, I'm not going to lie. On YouTube, there's this show called Tactical Bear. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's this show about how to survive in post-apocalyptic scenarios and how to sit back and pick the right places to sustain yourself. And it's coming from a military perspective. I've been watching the hell out of it lately. But I'm like, you can sit back here and watch it all damn day long, man. You better have some faith. And we better have faith, and you better have works. You better have some works and some faith behind you for this time. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up. We'll try to go implement this into the class, but we already have the class. And we're going to sit back and stick to the topic and kind of implement this good and bad news. Because it's good because we're getting closer to our salvation. But it's a challenge because we don't know to the extent of how long we're going to have to suffer through this. That's the $1 million question. When things start getting bad, is the majority of the difficult times going to come before the bombs drop or after the bombs drop and we're delivered? The hope is that we don't stay here much longer and we can start our purging in the wilderness as soon as possible.
We do know that salvation and destruction go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And they're usually simultaneous. Like us coming out of Egypt, it was their destruction, our salvation.
Yeah.
And the Most High always required that which is past. So whatever happens, we know that when one nation is being destroyed, another people are going to be delivered.
And we also know as one country is falling, the Most High was protecting us as he was cursing Egypt.
Yep.
So that's the hope. But we have to see how this thing plays out and how much faith we're going to have in order for us to get through this situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go into that. We'll tackle that topic as we continue to go into class. But the title of the class is The Royal Commencement of Jonathan and the Short-Lived Peace Thereafter. We didn't get a chance last week to focus on this because we stayed on topic concerning Onias and the rebuilding of the temple. We stayed on that topic a lot and didn't get a chance to focus on the meat and potatoes of the topic last week. So we're going to go into that this week. Try to stay on topic. The first verse we're going to go into is 1 Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 48. But that tactical bear is legit. I'm not even going to lie to you. Good show. You know, they have it in like animated form, but it's really informative. Tactical bear. And, you know, the bear has his military vest like outside. It's awesome. Like, why does the bear have pants on and boots? What's he doing?
You got to survive. Right?
He's got to survive. But it's good information if you guys want to check that out. But once again, this is not about relying on that. Because we got to rely on the Most High Christ. Right. But it doesn't make sense to sit back here and lack any survival intelligence either. That's not smart. First Maccabees 10 and verse 48. Correct, you saluted in.
Correct. Shah Shabbatah, Banashah, Banashala.
Correct. Shah Shabbatah, Banashah, Banashala. Much.
How about you, Yashabakatam?
Right. All right. So, First Maccabees 10 and 48.
First Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 48. Then gathered King Alexander great forces and camped over against Demetrius.
We went over this briefly 2 weeks ago. But this is King Alexander Bala. He's the one that says he had affiliations or bloodlines tied to Antiochus Epiphanes. History says he was a fraud. Josephus and the people at the time did not believe he was a fraud. So it doesn't matter if he is or not, he was in a position. Alexander Bala sets his force up against King Demetrius, who was of the Seleucid line. So really they're cousins fighting each other for power. Okay? So they're about to go to war. Remember, Demetrius was the guy who stayed in that tower. In those 4 towers and secured and didn't handle the business of being a leader. And suffered the consequences behind it. That was 2 weeks ago, went over that. Okay? Now let's continue.
Verse 49. And after the 2 kings had joined battle, Demetrius' host fled, but Alexander followed after him. And
So
prevailed
it
against him.
says, it said Alexander's host attacked Demetrius, and Demetrius' army fled, but Alexander kept pursuing Demetrius. Okay, read on.
Right. And he continued the battle very sore until the sun went down. And that day was Demetrius
So
slain.
Demetrius died by the hands of Alexander Bala on this day. Read on. Is that verse 50?
Yeah.
Let that go. Not let it go, but just hold it. We're going to be going to Josephus, book 13, chapter 2, paragraph 4. Book 13, chapter 2, paragraph 4.
Page 338.
God. Antiquity of the Jews, book 13, chapter 2, paragraph 4. This was what Demetrius promised and granted to the Jews by this letter. But King Alexander raised a great army of mercenary soldiers and of those that deserted to him out of Syria and made an expedition against Demetrius. And when it was come to a battle, the left wing of Demetrius put those who opposed them to flight and pursued them a great way and slew many of them and spoiled their camp. But the right wing, where Demetrius happened to be, was beaten. And as for all the rest, they ran away. But Demetrius fought courageously and slew a great many of the enemy. But as he was in pursuit of the rest, his horse carried him into a deep bog.
What is a bog? It said Demetrius sat back here and his horse fell into a deep bog. Somebody look it up real quick. It's like a swamp, but
It's a quagmire covered with grass or other plants.
so then I asked the catch. It looks
marsh.
like it's grass, but then you sit back and get caught in the marsh and you're stuck. So now his horse is stuck. You lose your leverage in battle. So listen, a lot of these guys that had the horses, you had leverage over the regular people fighting on the ground without the horse. So now we lose the horse. It's just him fighting against a bunch of other men. You lost your advantage. Read on. Not more about the definition. Let's keep going back in the yeah.
Where it was hard to get out, and there it happened that upon his horse falling down, he could not escape being killed. For when his enemies saw what had befallen him, they returned back and encompassed Demetrius round, and they all threw their darts at him.
That's a tough way to go. He was trapped. He couldn't go nowhere. And they just all circled him and started throwing darts at him. Read on.
But he, being now on foot, fought bravely. But at length he received so many wounds that he was not able to bear up any longer, but fell. And this is the end that Demetrius came to when he was reigned 11 years, as we have elsewhere related.
The crazy thing is how people looked at men back in those days is different than now. Listen, it wasn't about if you won or lost, it's how you went down. It was Demetrius' time. And when it's our time, don't you sit back here and hope to fight standing? I'm not acting like this guy is some honorable dude. He was wicked as hell. But even with that, I mean, you read constant, even about Saul. Saul knew he was about to go down. How did he die? He stood up with his head up. Is I'm going to wipe out these Philistines, as many as I can, before I go down. That's how you face death.
Samson, the same thing.
That's how you face death. That's how you face death masculine and strong, and not being afraid. What am I trying to say? I will not make a class about this, but I just want to focus on how it's how you finish, it's how you do things that matters just as much as doing it. How you do it, how you die, how you fight, how you choose to face your battles is what's remembered about you. Keep that in mind in your life when things aren't going the way you want. Most High is judging how you handle adversity, how you respond to things not working out the way that you like. And for all the wickedness that Demetrius did, he said, hell, at least when it was time for him to fight, he didn't cower down. He died like a man.
And neither did Judith. When you read Judith in the Apocrypha, she fought just as brave as a man.
God.
And got the victory.
God. Listen, I'm telling you this. I've had jokes with Daliad about when people are in predicaments about it's how you go down.
Yeah.
You might not be able to control if you win or lose, but you can control how you fight.
Yeah, you have to.
And how you handle yourself. And that's the difference. Listen, it's not about man pleasing. It's not about kissing butt, and it's not about that, but it's about your own dignity and your own pride. And whatever you go through, you're supposed to sit back and seek the preeminence and seek the capacity to fight and be as strong as possible. That's what we all should be sitting back here and shooting to do. Can I fight to maintain my integrity, my spiritual self-respect, and my order? So anyway, I just want to leave it at that. I'm not trying to make it about that, but there's reasons this type of integrity and bravery is brought out. We're supposed to learn how to handle things, whether we gain the victory or the loss, whether it works out to our advantage or not. Okay, that's a major part of life. So let that go and go back. No, not go back. Let's go to Josephus, book 13, chapter 4, paragraph 1. So we got the death of Demetrius out the way. Now Alexander Bala is in power. And we're going to go into the relationship between Alexander Bala of the Antiochus region and Ptolemy Philometor of the Egyptian region. We're going to go into their dynamic and how Jonathan and Israel is treated as these two superpowers are coming together and doing and working on their alliances. Okay, so let's read. Today is going to be a lot about just information and history and extracting that and getting through that, because the next couple of chapters is about white on white crime. It's really going to be about white on white crime, and that's going to be what we're talking about today, because that's the history and how we are affected in this white on white crime. Just like when you read in Daniel's 11. Daniel's 11 is all about white on white crime and how we got pulled into wars for the white man. And it's the truth. Anyway, so let's keep going. So, book 13, chapter 4, paragraph 1. Just like we're getting pulled into war today.
Yeah.
All those brothers and sisters who thought it was a good idea to make a career being in the military, and you're stationed in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, you're stationed in Qatar or Qatar, however you want to enunciate it, they're getting bombed by Iran. Right now as we speak. Then that decision to sit back here and put that uniform on and get that easy check, now you're regretting it, right? Because do you think they're going to listen? Did you see those the images online about the toilets in those Navy ships being backed up?
No.
Y'all saw that?
No.
And like the toilets are all running, and all the dog water's coming out, like the poo-poo water is flooding the damn Navy ships. Did y'all see that?
No.
What was happening is the thought was that the boats were malfunctioning, but the issue is the GIs are mad that they're in the water for too long, man, and they're stacking up, they're messing up all the plumbing because they're vexed because they've been in the sea for 10 months, and guess what? Now they're in Saudi Arabia, about to get in the war. You think they're going home anytime soon?
No.
That 10 months is going to turn to 22 months really soon, huh? And they're vexed that they're on the seat for this damn long.
Might as well clean that poop up. Yeah. Get comfortable.
Listen, but they vexed. They angry right now.
Yeah.
So they got to do something. So guess what? All this is happening because they won't be out there for a little bit, for a lot longer, maybe indefinite. Get used to it. But they're not. What it show? They're not. The GIs aren't battle tested. They're not used to being inconvenienced at all. This is just the beginning. In Haifa in Israel, they're getting bombed. Listen, Iran's bombing, and it's going to drag the United States into a ground war. And once you get a ground war, you know there's 90 million people in Iran, right? 90 million. That's a lot of fighters. And they're fighting for their life. And we sitting back here mad because we in the boat, we in the water for too long, huh? And we got what do you happens when you're in the water too long? You got the fingers get all shriveled up.
Oh yeah. The raisin effect.
Listen, yeah, we're mad because we got the raisin effect back in the water, huh? And they're fighting for their damn lives. There's a difference in motivation. Just saying. Just saying. So let's continue.
God.
Book 13, book 13, chapter 4, paragraph 1.
God. Antiquity of the Jews, book 13, chapter 4, paragraph 1. Demetrius, being thus slain in battle, as we have above related, Alexander took the kingdom of Syria,
Antioch, everything from present-day Turkey eastward that the Greeks had control over, Alexander Bala now controls. Read on.
and wrote to Ptolemy, Philometor, and desired his daughter in marriage.
And that, listen, those type of marriages had been happening all throughout Daniel's 11. If you guys were listening, we went through it many months ago, how the Ptolemy families constantly intermarried with the Seleucid line to ensure peace amongst the two nations. They did it to make sure there was no warring amongst the two nations. Because their nature was to always go at one another and always go to war with one another. And the only way they've devised, or the safest way they've devised, is if we sit back here and have our families intermarry, it'll keep us more honest and keep us from being treacherous and dirtbags. And even that didn't always work. There was many times they did the marriages and they still was killing each other. Because the white man doesn't, they only know how to keep fighting.
He's blessed with the sword.
There's no off-ramp with Esau. In the height of their power, they don't know how to share nothing. It's all or nothing. And everything is a threat. Listen, even right now with Iran, they keep saying that Iran has weapons of mass destruction. The same way they said that Iraq did. Even though the Iranians have let these people into all their facilities, and the people, the middleman that's in charge of inspecting all the weaponry, they're saying they've complied to everything we've asked for. If they've complied and there's no weapons, why do they keep going and creating this whole scenario? Because they want in. They can't stop. They can't allow other nations to have sovereignty and power. Just a quick understanding of even the whole Venezuela situation. Did y'all know that China was purchasing 80% of Venezuela's oil? So, also, Venezuela's oil supplies, or their oil manufacturing companies, are billions of dollars behind in their infrastructure. So, United States has got Venezuela's oil, right? In order for Shell and Exxon and British Petroleum to come in and actually make money, they would have to invest billions of dollars into the infrastructure to bring it up to date. They don't want to do that. They're not going to do that. So if they're not going to put billions of dollars into the infrastructure of Venezuela so that the oil can be produced at a higher clip and more efficient clip, and the United States can't even on a mass scale break down their oil. There's only 2 power plants in the United States that can take their oil and break it down and sell it.
Is that in Texas?
Yeah, one's in Corpus and one's somewhere else.
Yeah.
There's only 2, so they really can't even mass produce the oil. So if they can't mass produce the oil, they can't make the money off the oil, then why do they take it? They took it to block China and to get paid and to force China to economically work and play ball with them. They're waging economic war against China by taking out Venezuela. What do you think they're doing? Why do you think they're taking out Iran? For the same reason. They need to have a stranglehold on Iran's oil supplies, because in doing that, it cuts China, it cuts them in the legs, and it stifles Russia. But if you can take out Iran, sanction Saudi Arabia and all the OPEC nations, and you have control over Venezuela, now China has to come to them. Especially if they break Russia. This is the end game. Esau's end game right now is to wipe out China, but you can't wipe out China till you take Iran. But they couldn't take out Iran unless you took out who? Iran's number one backer, which was who? Syria. They had to take out Syria, which they did, because Syria and Iran, they shared the same religious beliefs. They were Shiite Muslims. The rest of the Muslim world is Sunni. So they had to decapitate Syria, wear out Gaza, which is allies to Iran, weaken Hezbollah, and take out the Houthis. And all these guys have been focused. They've been trying to take out all these outside countries to get to Iran and break it. Because if you can break Iran, then you break China. Or you get closer to breaking China. Because China is relying on all these natural resources. But why am I even saying this? Esau, it doesn't matter what president. I've said it before in different classes. The Rand report, Esau, the elites hired these think tanks to strategize on how to topple empires. This is what they do. They sit back and hire think tanks to figure out different war game situations, economic, strategical situations. They're even right now taking out Cuba. Cuba still is allied with Russia. They're sitting back here setting up oil embargoes because Venezuelan oil was also going to Cuba. So they're breaking Cuba. They've broken Venezuela. They're trying to break Iran so that all these nations fold and give in to United States hegemony. So whether it's United States today or the Greek Empire yesteryear or the Roman Empire after the Greeks, Esau only has one gear. It's forward. We're going to wipe out countries. We're going to wipe out anybody that has a semblance of a threat to us. This is how Esau moves. And he said, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, so continue. I can talk about this for 5 hours. We won't get no Bible talk about that. Let's keep going.
Says, and said it was but just that he should be joined in affinity to one that had now received the principality of his forefathers and had been promoted to it by the Most High's providence.
So the funny thing is, even Esau, at least in the beginning, even notice a theme, whether it's Esau or the nations, there's a humility to them as they enter into power. There's a spiritual humility to Esau as they enter into power. Constantly, whether it's King Cyrus, which was Persian, Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian, which was obviously Babylonian, they all had at one time a spiritual consciousness that God had chosen them to take this position. And then once they get into power, they forget the Most High, and they go back to their true nature. And then when that happens, the Most High removes them. This is how it's been from the beginning of time with the nations. What the difference between how the Most High deals with the nations and deals with us. He sits back here and stings us and removes us from power quickly so that we don't corrupt ourselves to the point of no return. With the nations, he lets them run their course until they destroy themselves. And that's what he does with all these guys like Alexander Bala, who's talking about this is the Lord's providence that has me here, so let me have your wife so I can have more political control. And then we're going to read about what happens to Alexander Bala as he continues in his position of power and how the Lord deals with him and Ptolemy Philometor. So let's continue.
And that was on other accounts not worthy of being related to him. Ptolemy received this proposal of marriage gladly and wrote him an answer, saluting him on account of his having received the principality of his forefathers, and promising him that he would give him his daughter in marriage, and assured him that he would there meet him, for that he would...
No. And assured him that he was coming to meet him at what?
It says, and assured him that he would there meet him.
Oh, maybe it's different writing. Okay, read on.
For that he would accompany her from Egypt so far, and would there marry his child to him. When Ptolemy had written thus, he came suddenly to Ptolemaeus, and brought his daughter Cleopatra along with him.
Ptolemaeus. So what happened is Philometor brought his daughter from Egypt to Ptolemaeus, which is in the Tyre and Zidonian region. I think I have an image of Ptolemaeus. Yeah. Ptolemaeus is a city next to that Syro-Phoenicia. It's that city Acca. It's Acca, that was the original name. But Esau always changed his names to white names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he changed it to Ptolemaeus. And that was the location that they both met to have this wedding ceremony. Okay? Just so we can understand. So let's continue.
And as he found Alexander there before him, as he desired him to come, he gave him his child in marriage, and for her portion gave her as much silver and gold as became such a king to give.
Okay, so everything is cool now between Philometor and Alexander Balaam. Alexander marries his daughter, Philometor's daughter. Everybody's smiling, right? So hold this and go back to verse in a Maccabees, First Maccabees, chapter 10, verse 51 through 58.
First Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 51. Afterward, Alexander sent ambassadors to Ptolemy, king of Egypt, with a message to this effect. For as much as I am come again to my realm, and am set in the throne of my progenitors, and have gotten the dominion, and overthrown Demetrius, and recovered our country. For after I had joined battle with him, both he and his host was discomfited by us, so that we sit in the throne of his kingdom. Now therefore let us make a league of amity together, and give me now thy daughter to wife, and I will be thy son-in-law, and will give both thee and her gifts according to thy dignity. Then Ptolemy the king gave answer, saying, Happy be the day wherein thou didst return into the land of thy fathers, and sattest in the throne of their kingdom. And now will I do to thee as thou hast written. Meet me therefore at Ptolemais, that we may see one another. For I will marry my daughter to thee according to thy desire. So Ptolemy went out of Egypt with his daughter Cleopatra, and they came unto Ptolemais in the 162nd year.
162nd year. Read on.
Where King Alexander, meeting him, gave unto him his daughter Cleopatra, and celebrated her marriage at Ptolemais with great glory, as the manner of kings is.
Hold that. Go to... Now we're back in Josephus, book 13, chapter 4, paragraph 2.
Fine. Antiquity of the Jews, book 13, chapter 4, paragraph 2. When the wedding was over, Alexander wrote to Jonathan, the high priest, and desired to come to Ptolemais. So when he came to these kings and had made them magnificent presents, he was honored by them both.
So what he did, once they had their Edomite marriage, then it was about conducting business. Once business was conducted, Then he was like, okay, let's bring Jonathan and whatever else business got to get done and deal with this business that's presented to the people. So what they're doing is they bring Jonathan up, and Jonathan is already picking up in this diplomatic realm. It's about gift giving. Is anything else? Is it done? It's about gift giving, building building bonds with these people. So Jonathan gives gifts, does what he has to do.
It's almost like he's entered politics.
Yes, and that was his strength. Judas was the hammer on. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill you dead, and I'll just be in the woods forever, and I'll be all right with that. Yeah. Jonathan was built a different way. He had a little bit more of diplomatic bones in his body, so he understands how to work amongst these priestly individuals. Well, not priestly, but these kingly individuals. So he ends up dealing with Jonathan ends up dealing with Alexander and Ptolemy, brings gifts to them during this season of this wedding season, and builds a good relationship between them both, and is honored by them both. Right? Continue.
Alexander compelled him also to put off his own garment and to take a purple garment.
So then, listen. So once again, Jonathan, through the mercy and grace of the Most High, was able to win them enough to where they put a spirit on Alexander and said, man, let's take off those rags you got, man. Put on a purple suit, man. Put on some royal clothes.
You're in the big house.
You're in the big house with the white folks now, man. Yeah, I got to dress you up. So now he sits back here and puts the royal purple on Jonathan. And that's important. Because if the king puts the royal purple on, nobody can do what? Nobody can mess with you. Nobody can mess with you. Gone. Because that's the only thing that that's the only thing that Jew respects. Listen, let's be honest. Israel doesn't respect works, dedication, sacrifice. All Israel respects is law and power. And if you have the power to make their life uncomfortable, that's the only thing Israelites respect. Listen, it is not about scripture ability, dedication, wisdom, humility. You don't care about that. Throughout all the history proves that. Why did they respect Ezra back in the day?
Because he had backing from
the king.
The king.
Then everybody started crying. We all must change because Ezra said it.
Yep.
Same thing with Nehemiah. Why did they respect Nehemiah?
He had the king's soldiers with him.
That's the point. And he had the king's soldiers with him. When you got the king's soldiers, they'll listen to you. If you don't have the king's soldiers, guess what's going to happen to you? They're going to kill you. That's the Jew. Never forget it. Never forget it. So what's happening now is Alexander Bala ends up putting the purple robe on Jonathan. Now that gives him a greater elevated power in the realm. Let's continue.
And made him sit with him on his throne.
That means he's sitting next to him with all the other leaders of the region. Read on.
And commanded his captains that they should go with him into the middle of the city and proclaim that it was not permitted to anyone to speak against him or to give him any disturbance.
Because the truth is that was important. Being vouched at that level pushed away a lot of the anarchy
that was already set up against him.
That was already happening. What it lets you know is that it didn't matter that he had allies with Alexander. It didn't matter he was cool with Ptolemy Philometor. There was Jews in the nation that still didn't like what he was doing. And one thing we have to understand, you are never going to be able to get through life without adversaries in your way.
Yeah.
You're never, I don't give a damn what cartoon life you got or think you have. You're never going to escape some people not having your best interest at heart. And some people actively trying to remove you from the position that the Most High's got you in. You're never going to experience a situation where you're going to be absolved from that type of adversity. You know, a lot of times you're hearing counsel, well, why is it my boss doing this? And why is this always happening? And why is this person trying to get me? You know why? Because this is the nature of life. You're never going to get past this type of adversity trying to come at what you're trying to do for him. So just stop thinking you can escape it. You'll never escape it. Okay? So let's continue.
All right, line 85. And when the captains had thus done, those that were prepared to accuse Jonathan.
There you go. People were already trying to do him in.
They were prepared. I mean, they've been called with different little
Evidence.
rules,
I beg to differ.
games, little debates.
Yes, I have reasons to sit back here and prove that Jonathan isn't the man for the job. This is always going to happen.
Amongst the Jews.
Let's just say in life.
Okay.
Let's say in life. It's a fair way to say in life there's no way of escaping this dynamic. One is set against another.
Yeah.
Good against evil. There's always going to be some type of friction that you can't escape. There's always going to be somebody that looks at you and doesn't see you in the proper light. So because they don't see you in the proper light, you have to understand this and stay in order and allow the Most High to defend you. Okay? So, let's continue.
And who before him, it says, and who bore him ill will.
And who bore him ill will. What did Jonathan do but take a stand to do right for the Most High? Even that, a lot of times we are diametrically opposed because of what people stand for. And what the focus is with one person versus another. Read on.
When they saw the honor that was done him by proclamation, and that by the king's order ran away, and were afraid lest some mischief should befall them.
Why did they run away? That's the question. Why did they run away? Because they had been causing trouble in Jerusalem.
Yep.
And Jonathan knew it. Jonathan knew they had beef back then. So now, if Jonathan sees them in the city, you're like, these guys have a problem with me. So they don't run away. Because the Most High gave Jonathan and his people a temporary reprieve and some peace from enemies that are out to get them. That's the understanding also. You know what the most listen, we're going to read as we continue to go on that Jonathan has more battles, more confrontations with negative people. But for now, the Most High gives us peace from those quote unquote haters, negative people, people that are anti what. That's going to drip. You got to make sure something's in the cover. Either that, yeah, that's what it's for. Anyway, so let's continue.
Nay, King Alexander was so very kind to Jonathan that he set him down as the principal of his friends.
So Alexander was good friends with Jonathan, and that benefited the faction of the Jews that tried to please the Most High. Because then, once again, there's constant different factions of Jews that have different interests, that have different motivations, that have different philosophies. And listen, this is why the idea of unity, I always say it, is almost laughable. You know why the idea of unity in the Israel community or any community is laughable? Because what does unity mean? Unity doesn't just mean we believe in the Most High and believe in that we're Israelites. Unity also believes unity is based upon also, are we all going to agree on the amount of commitment it takes to please the Most High? Are we all going to agree with how much dedication and sacrifice that's going to be demanded and expected from everybody else? There's so many different aspects to unity. And to think that everybody's going to lock in is very immature, and it's very
unrealistic
and young. Because if we were going to have the capacity to unify everybody, what would be the purpose for being in the wilderness? What do you think is going to happen in the wilderness? We're going to sit back here in the wilderness. Do you think it's just going to be about laws? It's going to be about the standard that Christ sets for us to have to follow. And then there can't be any more, I don't agree.
Options.
There's no more I don't agree. Everybody can not agree now.
Your car is canceled.
Everybody can practice not agreeing right now until you don't have that card to pull anymore. And when you no longer have that I don't agree card, guess what? You better adjust. The funny thing is, what are we supposed to be doing on earth now? Rehearsing or what?
Righteous acts.
We should be practicing learning how to follow and lock in. And to put your opinion to the back burner for the sake of the body. Because if you can learn that now, it's going to be easier to put yourself last when it counts. Right? But the idea that a lot of people don't want to live that way and commit that way to the level of servitude required to get the Most High's attention on earth now. So he's going to bring everybody in one place and everybody's going to have to lock into Christ. People have the idea that it's going to be easier to please Christ than sit back here and make adjustments here. We'll see. We'll see. Because if you don't practice that mentality of selflessness now, you think you're going to be able to just cut it on and cut it off?
Nope.
Especially if you're not flexible already.
That's my point. If you're not organized now, you're going to be organized in the apocalypse. If you're not disciplined now, you're going to turn on the spirit of discipline and studying later. If you don't study now, you're going to study later. When the real pressure is on, you're not.
Right.
So the Most High is trying to sit back and teach us now to get geared up for what's about to happen. And the notion, there's going to always be somebody that doesn't like how it's done. You're never going to make everybody happy.
Dathan and Korah was proof during the time of Moses and Aaron that they had a different view of how things should be. Direction that they should go.
Difference of opinion.
Yep.
And it never stops. And then once that starts, then it's how do I get what I want? That's the end result. Once I talk about what I don't like, then the next question is, how can I get in that position or mimic what another person's doing to justify my position? Anyway, so, and the only thing that neutralizes that is royal or governmental authority. That's the only thing that keeps Jake honest. We done?
Paragraph 3.
No, I don't want 3. Let's go to verse 59 in the Maccabees. 59 to 66. Matter of fact, to 68.
First Maccabees chapter 10, verse 59. Now, King Alexander had written unto Jonathan that he should come and meet him, who thereupon went honorably to Ptolemais, where he met the 2 kings, and gave them and their friends silver and gold, and many presents, and found favor in their sight.
Listen, when white folks want that gold and that silver, right? That makes them all happy, huh? Yeah. That's key to their heart. But keep going.
At that time, certain pestilent fellows of Israel.
Listen, let's get pestilent. It's at that same time there was pestilent fellows of Israel.
Pestilent.
Sheesh. Give me 1 and 2.
Pestilent. 1828. What's the dictionary? For number 1. Producing the plague or other malignant contagious disease.
So what is he saying these people are doing? These people that have an issue with Jonathan are really doing what? They're really producing a contagious disease. What and where is the contagious disease? It's the disease of I don't have to lock into this. I don't have to do it this way. That is contagious. That's what people don't understand. If you don't have to do it, then why does anybody have to do anything? Am I right or wrong? Doesn't everybody have a difference of opinion? And doesn't everybody have a different standard that they think that they should operate in? So if one person disagrees and thinks that the level of intensity in the work should be at level 6, another person is going to say, well, I think the intensity should be at level 8. Another person say, well, I think the intensity should be level 4. Who's right? Another person, I think the intensity should be level 1. The problem is that everybody has an opinion. And that difference of opinion is sickness. That's the sickness. Because when everybody wants to do things differently, then there's no order. Nothing can stay structured. You can't get things accomplished that way. Right? We can see that in the household, right? How can two walk together unless they be what?
Agreed.
In the same mindset. Agreed with the standard and level of intensity it takes to get blessed. If it's that way in a household, you think it's not that way in a camp? Or in a church or a school? It's the same thing. These people, these pestilent people, they wanted to sit back here and lower the standard of where the city, where Jerusalem, where the nation was going. And that was always the sickness and the battle when you had the Jews that were pushing the Greek culture, fighting and clashing with the priesthood that was trying to sustain the nation as being a spiritual nation. And you had those Israelite Greeks that were trying to take it to a more progressive type of city. But that quote-unquote progressive city was deteriorating the nation. It was a sickness and a disease in the nation. Keep going in those definitions.
It says, noxious to health and life, as a pestilent air or climate.
Noxious to health. What's noxious?
Noxious. Hurtful. Harmful. Painful.
And that's the point. People, a lot of times, don't care about the effect of their opinions have on other people. They just want things to be their way. And people don't realize how their opinions and their feelings weaken and stifle the body. And this is that malignant root and that seed in our people, where what we want and need is more important than the effect it has, big picture for the body.
Yeah, scripture on that too.
Yes.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 4.
First Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 4.
Read that.
For while one says,
It said, because one person may say what?
I am of Paul.
I like Paul. Another person say
I
what?
like the standard that Paul sets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another, I am of Apollos.
It said, well, you like Paul, but I like who?
Apollos.
I like what?
He cold on the mic.
Yeah.
He cold on the mic, man.
But Paul's like, man, people gonna have their preference.
Never ends. It never ends.
That's not gonna stop. People gonna say, well, I like this better, and another person, I like this person better. Well, Paul says what?
Are you not carnal?
What do you call that?
That's carnal.
Carnal. Why is it carnal? Why is that a carnal perspective? Because people can't see that. Yes, sir.
I'll say because it makes you think. I think the big picture of Bible is spirit.
You know why? Because it causes division. That's why it's carnal. Because it causes a separation.
And we can't see commonality. It's the same concept of how do you pronounce God's name?
Yeah.
Israel. Israel was good and semi-unified until that concept came out.
Well, y'all say Yahweh. We say Ahaya.
It's over now. We can't have any connections. We can't have communication now.
He exists, or the existing one. What's the
It's the difference.
What's the
People go to war over that.
What's the difference? Ahaya or versus y'all say his name wrong. Y'all say Ahaya or y'all say Yahweh. Y'all say Yahuwah. We say Yahuwah.
Now we can't agree on anything.
Right.
In the name of Most High.
Right.
Or it's such a big factor that there's a gulf between people now.
Yeah. That's how y'all do things. Or y'all still over there with that. We say things this way, so we'll be over here with this. Not realizing that when you start making distinctions like that, when both are operating in the capacity of trying to serve the Lord,
Yeah.
you cause division and strife. So anytime that anybody's opinion cause division, the Bible calls that that's carnality. He's going to prove it. Read up in verse 3.
Verse 3. For ye are yet carnal.
It said, how do you know when there's a carnal mind present? Read.
For whereas there is among you envying.
It says, cause what's there?
Envy.
Because once you see envy in there, we just read a minute ago in First Maccabees, that was in chapter 10, where he said those certain pestilent fellows. What verse was that?
That was verse 61.
Yeah, it says and at this time certain pestilent fellows of Israel, men of a wicked life, it says assemble themselves against him to accuse him. So they were accusing him based off what? Envy. What else?
And strife.
And strife. That meant they didn't like the way he was going. They didn't like Jonathan's direction.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like him being in charge. What else?
And divisions.
When you got envy, strife, and divisions, all that is evidence that somebody's operating in what kind of mind frame?
Carnal mentality.
It's a carnal mentality, and that's why the unity will be hard to sustain or to come to fruition.
Yep.
It'll be hard to manifest unity when you got this envy, you got strife, or you got division. And Christ said it could be a house, it could be a city, or it could be a nation. He says anytime there's division, it'll be an undoing of all of them. A house divided shall not stand.
True.
So Israel doesn't even realize that they're destroying their own selves by having an issue with the person the Most High put in charge.
God.
But Paul said what in verse 4?
It says, for while one saith, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos.
What is that? What did Paul call that?
Are ye not carnal?
Are you not carnal? Are you still? Do you not see the big picture? That they're both ministers of the Lord. They're both servants of the Most High. Why do you have to make the distinction? Why does it have to be a separation? Why can't you just accept both of them? Because that's not that people have opinions. That's why. But those opinions are carnal. Read on.
God. Who then is Paul, and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom ye believe?
It said, aren't they both ministers? Why does it have to be a distinction? Why can't you just appreciate both of them? That's people. And as soon as and that's never going to change in time. There's always going to be some carnal-minded people that's going to make distinctions in time.
Or Lot's servants.
Preferences.
And then, it was Lot's servants were tripping.
Mm-hmm.
And then they couldn't get along. There had to be a split with Abraham and Lot.
Yeah.
They're related. They're in unity. They're in the same spirit. But the servants can't get along.
Servants can't get along.
We got to split. You go to Sodom.
Somebody ended up in Booger Man land.
Booger Man.
Yeah, go over there.
Yeah.
With the boys.
It's nice over there.
Yeah.
It's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
I guess, bro. Boys Town.
Boys Town.
Boy at Boys Town. Huh?
We can't get along over here.
Yeah. Somebody ended up on the wrong side of the fence.
We won't go there. We won't go there.
That Cornell is more Cornell.
It's not Boys Town in Mexico either. It's Boys Town with them boys.
You could have got along with the shepherds, with the fellow shepherds.
Yeah.
You could have got along.
Now you got these other guys.
It went from bad to worse. Though.
Yeah.
Y'all arguing about goats and sheep? And you took my sheep.
The other things getting taken.
Took something.
Other things getting taken inside of mine.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's real.
Something small, a little leaven.
My brother.
Leaven the
That whole cake is baked at this point. It's a full-fledged cake. A lot of leaven in there. Anyway, you good? You got more?
God, that's it.
Okay.
No, Versace is
So let's go to verse 61 again.
Not a Versace.
Versace. Man.
They have Versace.
That's like South Beach. South Beach spirit. Let's keep going now.
First Maccabees, chapter 10.
You don't know what I mean if you've been to South Beach. Let's keep going.
God. At that time, certain pestilent fellows of Israel, men of a wicked life, assembled themselves against him to accuse him. But the king would not hear them.
Listen, this was the Most High looking after and giving us a temporary breather. Listen, I don't know if you see the theme from Judas on down. It's always about this different factions fighting for power. You have a faction that's trying to uphold a spiritual standard. It works for a period of time. Then you look up. There's negative factions fighting. Then there's war. Then there's peace. and there's war, and you go through these guys' lives. It's a constant pull. It's a push and pull, and a lot of times we hate the idea that it's a constant push and pull in life. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
A lot of us get tired of fighting ourselves. A lot of us get tired of fighting the constant presence that's making life difficult.
Negative presence, yeah.
The negative presence that makes life difficult. If you keep seeing the history, we can't grow tired of opposing forces and the vexation that comes behind it.
Or get mad that it returns. The division returns.
And this is an aspect of life that you cannot avoid. You can't avoid this constant feeling of pressure and resistance and the spirit of opposition you're facing on a daily basis.
That's true.
You know, we get it. When we worked the malls, you got used to it.
Yeah.
Like every day, you were at zero, and you had to wrestle with customers out to get your total out, and it felt like a mountainous challenge every day, having to face you and fight you, right or wrong. And that feeling. But then what happened is you would get used to the fact that every day I'm just going to have to fight. And I accept that every day I'm fighting me. And all this negative that's around me, I just accept that I'm not going to give in to me.
It's a constant. It's going to be there.
But once you accept that every day is going to be a battle and there's going to be a different opposing force that pushes up against you, it's easier to deal. A lot of us have problems with accepting that there's quiet times and then there's intensity. There's quiet times and there's an antagonistic force that you have to fight. And we grow tired of that constant push and pull. Now for us, it's either that push and pull with outside forces or it's that push and pull in our own head. And then as soon as you sit back here and conquer what's in your head, then there's going to be outside forces coming for you again. And then once you control that, then there's your head again that you have to fight.
You're always engaged in a struggle.
In some type of fight, it's fighting, then there's a cool-off period. Then it's fighting, and it's a cool-off period. Look at, just listen to all the Maccabees. You're not getting these extended periods of peace. It's not Solomon time no more, right? Where he had 40 years of this peace. We're not getting that. The Most High is not allowing us to be comfortable like that anymore.
Nope.
And sitting back here and looking at the news now, we better start practicing being uncomfortable because it's going to be this way and more intense down the line. We better practice being uncomfortable. We better practice having to face things that don't make us feel good, because we're going to start seeing this more and more and more. I'm just pointing this out because Jonathan is going from one battle to another. Then it's peace. Then even in the midst of peace, people are trying to break the peace. Then the Most High defends you with peace. We're going to read in the next chapter is more war. And his peace will be interrupted. It's like that. It's constant. It's a constant interruption of peace. So either you're going to be vexed by the constant interruption of peace, or you accept these are the battles the Most High chooses to put us in.
No.
How do you choose to live your life? And this is an important concept for us. Listen, Jonathan can sit back here and be obsessed with all the haters around him. He could be obsessed with all the anti-Jews or the pestilent Jews that have a problem with them.
They're bullying me.
Or why do I have all these enemies? I can't stand either. Let me eradicate these enemies so I can have peace. How about the fact you're never going to eradicate that spirit? It's always going to be there. So why are you obsessing over it?
Yeah.
Because the Most High is going to constantly keep us uncomfortable with different battles to challenge us. You're better off giving your energy to staying spiritual and maintaining a spiritual perspective than the aggravation that comes from the attacks that come. You tire yourself out being aggravated about the things you face.
That's because the flesh is never satisfied.
Gotcha.
The flesh is always looking for comfort and relaxation and ease.
And when you can't get it, you get vexed and emotional, and then you get upset, and then you get, depressed and
Yep.
full of anxiety. Everybody calls me anxiety.
Yep. But anxiety is based on just not accepting the fact that, listen, what made
you don't
David's
control.
mighty men so potent?
They're chafed in the mind.
They stayed in a chafed, uncomfortable mindset. They chose to be uncomfortable. They chose to mentally not seek comfort. If you're not seeking comfort, you can't get thrown off with a loop when things don't go your way. The monster that eats all of us is we're looking for a break. And then you look for a break your whole life. And then you get little pockets of breaks mixed in with work and discomfort. And we get mad that the breaks aren't long enough.
Okay.
The comfort isn't long enough. The peace of mind doesn't last as long as I'd like it to be. The only way to neutralize that type of mental slavery is to sit back and accept the discomfort. And when you have the comfort, it's a surprise. I wasn't expecting this comfort.
I call it just cheese on the burger, bro. You know why? Because if you get it, that's
Cheese on the burger.
cheese on the burger, bro. What
What does that even mean? Huh?
You ever go order a hamburger out and it's just they never put the cheese on it? So you eat it.
I actually like
You
that.
like that.
I don't want you to put cheese on the burger.
I prefer.
I will give you the burger back if you put cheese on my burger.
I would prefer the sandwich.
I know. I'm just being silly.
I'm like
I'm being yang to his yang.
There's the
Hey,
expectation.
cheeseburger last night.
There we go.
There's the
Yeah,
expectation
good
that you're gonna have this meal and you already have it planned how it's gonna taste. You already have a vision. It's gonna be this good. It's gonna have little onions on it. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna have little sprinkles of little sesame seeds. I want to be happy. And guess what? There's
Sesame seed bun. Huh?
Yes, you have nice sesame seeds on it, and it's not what you expected. But then when you just accept that you're not gonna get what you expect, and they actually get it right, everything's a little bit better. Yeah, it's like if you just stop expecting peace and stop expecting comfort, then when it comes, it's just an extra little elevation in the mood.
And that's and what you're saying is what being chafed in the mind is.
God.
Stop looking for the break. Stop expecting everybody to like you. Stop expecting everybody to love you and see the good in you. And expect that, hey, most people aren't, and it's okay. And when they do, I've got cheese in my burger.
I got cheese. I got cheese. They gave me cheese.
Well, I got grilled onions. Or my burger was cut in half.
It was sliced. That matters.
Listen,
That matters.
but you can't expect it to be cut in half. We're trying to bring it to a reality. We're trying to keep it light and fun. But because that's a very scary concept for people to grasp. I can't look for any comfort. I can't expect comfort. The answer is no.
It's almost like you're trying to tell people to be monks.
Yeah.
Without the religion, but with the discipline.
Wear that orange. You got to wear orange. Like wear orange and like just step on like brick floors all damn day long and just create crevices in the brick floors. I can find happiness in that.
You have to have a regimented, routine-oriented life forever.
Or the better.
Or just eat rice every day. This is rice.
Rice with the sticks, chopsticks.
Little sticks. Like it's just rice and more rice.
And that vexes people.
Maybe some tofu.
Yeah, man, you got tofu today.
Yeah,
congratulations.
But no sauces though. That kills
There's
everything.
no flavor.
Sauces.
There's no
sauce.
Yeah.
Maybe get some black pepper. Maybe.
Yeah.
But listen, what are we trying to say? You can look at it that way, or like Moses said, what we're supposed to be focusing on is the pursuit of what? Virtues. If we're looking for virtues, that means we're looking for opportunities to grow in our spirit. And if we're looking for virtues, then we're not upset when bad things happen. If you're looking for virtues, then when bad things happen, the bad things are opportunities to do what? Build your character. So if Jonathan's sitting back here and he's doing deals with Ptolemy Philometor and Alexander Bala, and he's trying to do business deals and he's trying to build rapport, and he's got these haters trying to sit back and assassinate his character or attack the good he's doing, you have to look at that as this is a chance that I can learn patience, restraint, faith, and I can sit back here and control my anger. And this is the mindset you have to take.
Without walking.
And if you walk through life looking for opportunities to build your virtue, then you're not angry when things don't go the way you want it. Because the adversity is actually what you're looking for. Because you really can't gain virtues unless you're experiencing aggravation. Does that make sense? That is a 10 times more spiritual way to look at life than to sit back here and do it like we do and looking for breaks and comforts and little pleasures in our life. Isn't that how we sit back here in our fashion to live? Looking for happiness? Looking for things that ease the burden? That's how we think. That's how we operate. Am I right or wrong? Versus looking for virtues. Looking to build in our spirit. If that's the number one priority, then adversity shouldn't be so disruptive. I hope we understand this. Because adversity is coming whether you choose to look for virtue in your life or not. Adversity is coming fast and furious with little spurts of peace and quiet. Like we're seeing with Jonathan. These are the lessons you're supposed to extract out of this. The hidden messages. Listen, yeah, these things are working out, but these negative guys are right around the corner. We're going to read next chapter that he still hasn't taken out that Tower of Accra. And that those wicked Jews are still there in Accra, in that tower.
Still functioning.
They're still functioning.
And they're plotting and planning too.
Listen, they're plotting and planning, and these guys are little tentacles extended out from that tower.
Yeah.
So he has to sit back and run an empire, do that which is right. And we're going to read later on that he has to write a letter to ask permission to besiege it.
In his own backyard.
In his own country.
Because you can't just make moves.
You can't just
without
make
permission
moves. That's my point.
Of the authority.
So he has this constant, nagging, negative force that's right in his face 24/7, 365, just like we do.
And it's a tower, so you can't help but see it.
They're fortified.
As I said, you gotta wake up in the morning like, damn, there's that tower again.
Yes.
It's still there.
And all of us has that tower in our life. That negative presence that you're never going to get rid of.
That's anti-you.
That's anti-you. All of us got it. Whether it's a physical person or physical people or that negative in you that wants to sit back and go left. How about every day, where is your Tower of Accra?
In your life.
In your life. Where is that part of you that's constantly sitting back here and going to war with you?
And physically, in the land is right next to the temple.
And it's diametrically opposed to you.
So what does that mean? It's diametrically opposed to your spirituality.
And there is a lesson in this. There is a lesson in this. We have to look at things spiritual. But let's continue. Thou
Shah Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Baya Sha'al.
Thou Makah, Shah Shabbatah, Bada Shah, Baya Shah, Much. Yahweh Shem Shabbatah.
Yahweh Shem Shabbatah.
Hajimata. Okay, verse 62.
First Maccabees, chapter 10 and verse 62. Yeah, more than that, the king commanded to take off his garments and clothe him in purple, and they did so. Also, he made him sit by himself.
But think about this. In Maccabees, it explains that the haters were there to accuse him before he was given the purple garments. Josephus explains it kind of in reverse. So I'm going to go in the scriptures. I'm going to stick to the scriptures on this one. And scripturally, it said that the haters came to Ptolemaeus to out him in front of the kings for literally a power move / coup situation. Why else would they come in front of the kings of the territory?
Because that spirit's always waiting.
But they're coming, listen, they came to meet the kings of the territory to say, Jonathan is not the man for the job, and he needs to get removed from office. And once they did that, they were going to kill him. So listen, Jonathan has to sit back here and make his focus on what? Building relationships, and he can't focus, and he couldn't focus. Did he sit back here and ask for the purple robe?
Nope.
He sat back here, did his job as the leader of the region, and the Most High did the rest. How many times do we try to remove the spiritual obstacle out of our life? How many times do we try to remove Accra out of our life? The boss, the circumstance, the negative condition. We think solving the problem is removing yourself from the problem. That doesn't solve the problem. The way you solve the problem is to conquer your hate in you. That's the problem. You can sit back here all damn day long and remove this and do some razzle-dazzle and change this and react negatively to a person or a situation. You can do that, but that's not the solution. The solution is breaking what's inside of you and letting the Most High defend you. Because what good would it have been if Jonathan would have sat back here and made it about these hating Jews, trying to remove him from his position? It would have taken him away from his objective.
His flow.
And his objective was to win Ptolemy, Philometor, and Alexander Bala. That was his job.
It was a distraction.
That was a distraction. Just like everything around us, there are distractions. But the funny thing is, the Most High constantly gives us distractions. You're the idiot that eats the cheese and focuses on the distraction.
Yeah.
How about that? Why are you sitting back here and overly fueling the emotions that come from the distraction?
God, it's a rat trap. Cheese is right there. And you see the rat trap. But
that cheese is delicious.
But you want that distraction.
And that cheese is what? Vengeance, payback. I want to sit back here and I feel wronged. I'm offended. This person's presence is an annoyance.
I disagree.
Or this person's presence is an annoyance. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me think about this. These people pushing their way is a direct attack on Jonathan's livelihood and position.
Yeah.
Anybody in their right mind would do everything in their power to remove them. If Jonathan was playing those games, he would have snitched them out.
Yep.
Right or wrong. He would have sat back and went to Alexander. These guys are a thorn in my side. Can you please remove them for me? Did Jonathan do that?
Mm-mm. No,
he stayed in order, did his job, and the Most High sat back here and had them flee away. Did he say, hey, man, I know I got this purple robe, man. Can you send some of your boys with military and walk me through the city to scare them haters off? Did he say any of that? No. They did it for him. Why is that important? We try to solve our problems by physically sitting back here and making moves to remove these obstacles from us when we're supposed to learn obedience and we're supposed to learn how to wait on the Lord. Am I right or wrong? This is what the scripture says. But it's very difficult for Israel to learn how to wait for the Lord because the annoyance becomes an obsession.
Hey, can I say one thing? There is a theme that was going before this theme. That's the same exact thing. They were in the swamp. The Spirit of the Lord called them out the swamp
God.
and elevated him to a better position. It's more of the same spiritual theme.
That's what I've been trying to
throughout
say.
This.
It's about obedience, holding your ground, standing your ground,
Yeah.
maintaining your integrity,
Yeah.
and allowing the Most High to do what He's going to do.
And not deviate.
But that is what faith looks like. Remember we read about how travail is made for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
We read about that in Ecclesiastes 40. But the issue is travail is made for everybody, but how negative do you get? And what do you do to try to remove that travail? The problem is we're not supposed to remove the travail. The travail is supposed to be there. Right?
Okay.
The sin happens.
Yeah.
The sin happens when we try to remove the travail from our lives.
Yep.
That's when we sin. Think about it. Travail was meant for us in our life. Obstacles, difficulties. These difficulties were supposed to create insecurities, fear, restlessness, anger, discontentment. Now, once this restlessness, fear, discontentment, you don't think Jonathan was thinking about how these guys were trying to kill him? You don't think that was in his back of his mind? Yeah, it was. Just like it's in the back of our mind when obstacles are presented in front of us that makes us uncomfortable about our position in life, in our marriages, whatever it is.
And what appears.
But once again, let me finish this thought. And the negative happens when we try to do something about it, to remove ourselves from the travail. What are we supposed to experience when we're going through the travail? We're supposed to learn the lesson and learn how to rely on the Most High in Christ through the travail. But we sit back here because the thoughts are intense, the feelings are even more intense, that we have to remove ourselves from this travail to make our lives comfortable. But that is not how the Most High ever made it happen. The spiritual individuals are able to move through the travail and learn the virtue that the travail provides. Either the travail is going to provide you virtues, or the travail is going to make you or create a reason for you to sin. Which choice are you going to take? Are you going to sit back here and let the travail define you so you go fall and get into your lust? Or is the travail that you're experiencing there so you can gain more spiritual virtues through the travail? That is the only solution through it. Jonathan had to learn faith. Whether he was in the swamps and facing larger numbers, he had to keep his integrity and keep fighting. Because remember, before that, the nation was getting stung because nobody wanted to fight. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Then they all chose to fight. Then they started losing.
You're losing men.
And then, losing battles. Battles that what's his name? Judas wasn't losing. So then they had to wait until the Most High bailed them out and got them out of their battle. That's how it worked.
Scripture on that point too.
Yes.
St. John chapter 17.
Okay.
That's still there. Just
Read verse 14 and 15.
St. John 17?
Mm-hmm. Verse 14 and 15.
St. John chapter 17 and verse 14. I have given them thy word.
So this is Christ praying to the Father about the disciples. He said, I've given them thy word. Read.
And the world hath hated them.
It says, and when they got enlightened with this word, he says the world is going to do what?
Hated them.
So it's instant enemies. Anytime you get the word of the Most High, you get instant enemies. People going to hate you for the new change that you're about. Because you choose not to be about the world. So the world's going to hate you. Read on.
Because they are not of the world.
Read on.
Even as I am not of the world.
Read on.
I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world.
Did Christ pray that God destroys the world? Because the world is full of haters? What did Christ pray for? Read.
I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world.
But what?
But that thou shouldest keep them from the evil.
He said, but they still got to do what? They still got to be in a world full of haters.
Yep.
So guess what? The Most High is going to keep you in that position. Christ is just praying that you don't be overcome by the haters. You just don't be overcome by the evil. But you're not escaping. You're not removing the evil.
Listen, even Christ at his weakest moment prayed that the battle would leave him. But he said, if you don't want it to happen,
then let that will be done.
And that was Christ at his weakest moment, knowing that death was at his doorstep. But it's still the same reality. It's if the Most High wants me to go through this, why am I running from it? Why am I trying to remove myself from the discomfort?
What we'll do is we'll quit the job, we'll quit the school, we'll quit the situation that's causing us vexation. Thinking that that's the answer. thinking that that's the solution.
And then you'll quit it, and then later on you have to face a job similar. It's even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse. Because you're not going to run from the inconveniences that the Most High has you have to face. It might take many, 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 many years, but you still have to face the thing you were supposed to face many years ago. Because it's still about the battle you got to fight. And this is the lesson that we have to extract from this scenario with Jonathan. He is going to have a constant presence of people that want him dead. And if he doesn't stay in order, the Most High is going to sting him. But in the back of his mind, if I don't fight these guys, they're going to kill me.
Yeah.
Right? That's a real thing. That's a real fear that if I don't protect myself, who's going to protect me? Right? You don't think that's a real thought that's plaguing his mind? Because it plagues our mind. If I don't do something about this, I'm going to sit back here and nobody's going to protect me. So let me protect myself.
Yep.
But the Most High puts you in scenarios where you don't feel defended, so you can trust that the Most High is going to defend you. Because who's putting the obstacle in your way? It's the Lord.
Yep.
It's allowing it to be there.
The Lord is allowing these haters and gainsayers to be right in front of you. The Lord is allowing these obstacles to be right in front of you to see how you handle the travail that was meant for every what?
Every man.
Man or woman. The travail might be a little different, but travail is needed for all of us to either choose to cleave to the Most High in Christ and choose virtue, or to choose the flesh and sin. What do you choose? Do you choose to remove this hell and this discomfort from you, or do you choose to embrace it and learn the virtue through it? Continue, Thawam. Give me verse
63.
Give me 62.
First Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 62.
Do we understand that concept? Let's continue.
Yeah, more than that, the king commanded to take off his garments and clothe him in purple, and they did so. Also, he made him sit by himself, and said unto his princes, Go with him into the midst of the city, and make proclamation that no man complain against him or any manner, and that no man trouble him for any manner of cause.
The funny thing is, the Most High was defending him. You don't think in the back of Jonathan's mind, he's like, damn, the Most High came through for me. He knew what I needed. He knew this was heavy on my mind. And he sat back here and put the spirit into this Edomite to back me up. Why is this important? Because the Most High defends you from unlikely sources, with using unlikely sources. Unlikely people, unlikely situations, they defend you. And we have to learn and practice to not focusing on defending ourselves. So listen, what is one of the major things wives have a problem with their husband? You didn't defend me. If your husband defends you from every damn thing, then why is the Most High even necessary? Right or wrong? If your husband is Superman, then what's the Most High?
Yeah.
The reality is there's limits to what we can protect our wives from. There's limits to what we can shelter our wives from. There comes a point where a wife still has to have faith in the Lord. Because if she never learns to have faith in the Lord, then when things get bad and that husband might not be there, where is your foundation and stability at? And men are fallible. People are fallible. You get what I'm saying? Your husband is there to be an example. But that example doesn't absolve you from cleaving to the Lord and have learned how to trust the Lord and understand that the travails that you go through, they're of the Lord.
Yep.
If you can grasp that, then you can stay spiritual and then choose virtue over reaction.
A wife's her confidence and faith in the Lord is just as important as his.
Yes, it is. But how is it? How is a woman's faith tested? Just like a man. Adversity. Travail. Travail. All the travails we face in our life are opportunities to build virtue. But a lot of times we fail when we go through travails. We fail and get carnal. Overreact. React hastily and negatively. The adversity is there to get you an opportunity to get closer to him and allow him to come through for you. Just like it's happening with Jonathan. Listen, did this Edomite do this for anybody else? He said, I'm going to do it for this Jew today. Son, maybe the champagne is hitting me a certain way. Man, give this guy one of my robes, man. I'm feeling good today. Man, I feel good. Give him a purple robe, and listen, guys, walk him through the city, man. I like this guy. I feel benevolent today. I like the little trinket he gave me. Because I like trinkets.
Gold and silver.
He been getting gold and silver all week. It's wedding week. Everybody's buying them things. Everybody's bringing them things. Whatever happened, he liked whatever the hell Jonathan gave him. He was picking up what Jonathan was putting down now. And whatever was on his mind, he said, listen, man, I'm going to sit back because you did your job. He didn't say this, but you did your job. I'm going to sit back here. And the Most High, through this white man, is going to hook you up. What does it show you?
You got a bonus on your job.
The Most High controls favor.
Yep.
He controls favor. Was it the fact that this white man was just a virtuous man? No, it ain't. Because you're going to read it in a chapter later, he gets murdered. So was it really about how good of a man he was? Hell no. It was just the Spirit used him to elevate you because of your obedience. But why is it important? The Most High uses other people to elevate you so you know and you're reminded it wasn't about what?
What about you?
It wasn't about your ability. Because what we want to do is be master and commander of our circumstances. We want to be the captain of our ship and control every direction we go. And the Most High constantly says, no, you're not going to be in control of your situation. I am. So I'm going to bless other people when you're obedient. And then when you get blessed, you're going to know it wasn't you. And so you can stay humble and moldable enough. But I'll only send you this resource and blessing once you realize what this is and you choose to make it about your spiritual lesson and not about trying to remove yourself from how difficult the circumstances are. Does that make sense? That is spiritual thinking. That's not weakness. That is not... because people will think that type of thinking is weak. People will think that type of thinking is foolish and not practical. The world definitely thinks that, and even in Israel. Israel swears that you got to sit back and do all these things on your own to change your circumstance. Obedience and the pursuit of virtues changes your circumstance. And that's the only thing that changes your circumstance. And can you accept that concept? Because if you can, you'll keep growing. Continue in verse 64 now. 64?
Yes, sir. First Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 64. Now when his accusers saw that he was honored according to the proclamation and clothed in purple, they fled all away.
They got the hell out the way. So whatever their plans were, they didn't work. And this taps into like all the Psalms David talked about. He prayed that the Most High will sit back and foil these people's plans that they had against him. Because that's the thinking. People might have negative intentions to harm you, fire you, mistreat you. But even in the midst of that, can you stay obedient and allow the Most High to change the minds of the people around you? All you have is your obedience and your good works and your commitment to changing and serving Him. That is the power we have. That has been the power we've had from the beginning of time. It's never been in our military prowess and our physical capabilities. That's never won us anything. Our obedience has won us. And the Most High constantly, through history, indirectly blesses us. He doesn't utilize you most of the time. He blesses you through other people taking care of you.
So he gets the glory.
So he gets the glory, and he removes pride from our hearts. This is the reality of how the Most High deals with us. But it still goes back to the accepting of travail has to happen to every single one of us. And it's how you deal with the travail determines your blessing. But let's continue. What you got something?
Yes, Hebrews chapter 5, verse 9. Because it's that navigating travail does determine how we receive our blessing.
If we get one or not.
If we get one or not. And it also has a lot to do with something that we're all here for to begin with. For the whole reason why we're reading the Bible. Read that Hebrews chapter 5, verse 9.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 9. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation.
Read.
Unto all them that obey him.
It said whose salvation for?
Unto all them that obey him.
So in order to receive salvation, you got to be what? You got to be obedient. Your salvation is our salvation is predicated upon our obedience.
And listen, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm sorry.
And so the blessings, salvation, all these things are predicated upon how we navigate travail. Am I going to follow the Most High or not, or go after my own will, or toot my own horn, or try to make it a situation that's comfortable for me, or I'm going to entertain the distractions around me? My obedience is one of the most important things that we can provide, because that's what Christ was about. Christ was only about the will of the Most High. Now, if you want to say something, I was going to get one more verse.
I just want to say on that point, this is why the Most High said, being made perfect. What does that mean? How are we made perfect? He is perfecting us through the mechanism of travail. That is the mechanism the Most High chose to determine. Read verse 8, it tells you. Read verse 8.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 8. Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered.
Thank you. You learn obedience through how you handle your suffering, by how you endure the ups and downs in your life. That is literally how you end up making or being perfect, being made perfect. It's how you suffer. It's how you handle your travail. It's how you psychologically and spiritually process the virtues that you have to learn in order to navigate through the travail. That's what it takes. Read verse 8 and 9 again.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 8. Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. And being made perfect.
You're made perfect through all the things that you suffer. You're learning how to choose to grasp spiritual lessons and virtues through all of these situations. That's how he makes us perfect. This is why you look at your life. It's one series of travails to another. Yep. One series of discomforts to another. One series of challenges to another. Why? All these things have to happen in order to show the Most High that I'm prepared for the next level.
And if you're a creature of comfort and consistency, the Most High will always throw monkey wrenches in your system, because he's going to try to break you out of that comfort and that routine that we like to be in. We like things to be in a routine, and the Most High is going to send different aspects of life where you're not going to be able to lock into your routine and your comfort and how you like things done, so that he can identify how you respond. And how you respond is very important to whether you get blessed or not, or rewarded or not, or salvation or not. How do you respond to these monkey wrenches the Most High throw at you?
The constant barrage of it is what the Most High is looking at to see if you are fit for salvation. So read verse 9.
Verse 9. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation.
Now, none of us are perfect, But shouldn't we be searching for perfection? Shouldn't we be shooting for perfection? That's what Hebrews 6:1 says. Leaving the principles of the doctrine of Christ, let us go into perfection. We should be sitting back here and embracing each set of adversities that are set before us so we can show the Most High that we're worthy of eternal salvation.
And
Yes, sir?
go ahead.
Being that we're on this, that is reminding me of that verse where even Christ himself said, "Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect."
That's the goal. But it's the perfection is based on how you handle the adversities. And can you still stay spiritual through the adversities?
And that there's a it's a very hard thing to do when you're navigating uncomfortable circumstances, and which Christ perfected.
Mm-hmm.
And go to St. John chapter 5 verse 30. This is something that Christ perfected when he says being made perfect. What was Christ perfect in? Because he suffered by the hands of his own people and the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
But what made him perfect?
Didn't say nothing.
No. Read that.
Come. St. John chapter 5 and verse 30. I can of my own self do nothing.
He said what?
I can of my own self do nothing.
You know what Christ was perfect in doing? Not making up his own decisions.
But the funny thing is this. Read that verse again. I promise you I'm going to let you roll with this. Read that again.
St. John chapter 5 and verse 30. I can of my own self do nothing.
But can't he call multiple legions of angels to remove himself from the situation?
God.
Can't he do that too?
God.
Yes, he can. But he chose to do nothing. That's the difference. He chose to stay in order and serve, even though he had the power to remove himself from whatever he went through. That is Christ.
Because it kind of just like prolonging and whatever he wants to happen is going to happen anyway. So it's like kind of just stretching out.
And it's disobedience. It's not just that, yes, he's stretching out the inevitable, but it's disobedience. Isn't that what happened to Jonah? Go to Nineveh. No, I'm going the opposite way.
Yeah.
That's disobedience. What was Jonah running from? The travail that was waiting for him. He ran from it and ended up making his life, bringing more travail to him, and he still had to face the travail that was right in front of him. And he never figured it out because he was still bitter even after the lesson he learned. He never learned the lesson. But what's the point? What Shamshawan said is perfect. Christ said, I can of myself do nothing. But that was a choice. That's all. I wonder if that was really phenomenal. Keep going.
Read that thou up.
Verse 30. I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge.
Go ahead.
And my judgment is just.
Why as he says judgment is just? What does Christ learn how to perfect? Read.
Because I seek not my own will.
What made Christ perfect?
Because I seek not my own will.
What made Christ perfect to suffering and being obedient is that he never tried to conjure up his own way out of it. He accepted the fact that if this is what the Most High wants for me, then and I got these bad bosses, I got these bad co-workers, I got this bad situation I'm in, then I'll just deal with it.
Because it's not about me in the first place.
It's not about me in the first
If you kill
place.
that, all the anxiety leaves.
It leaves.
All the stress leaves.
Because you know what that is? That's control.
That's it.
That's what it is when you do your own will. You're actually fighting for control. And Christ knew how to stop fighting for control. Because he realizes that it wasn't his decision. It wasn't his determination. It wasn't about his comfort. It wasn't about his desire. It wasn't about what he wanted. He said, of my own self, he can do what?
Because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me.
And that's what Christ was perfect in. He was perfect in obedience, meaning I'll relinquish what I want, how I want it, the way I want it, the choices that I would much rather have, the ease that can come from me making my own decisions and molding my own life. I'll relinquish that, forfeit that comfort or whatever it is ideas that I have or opinions that I have. I'll forfeit that and give in to the way that the Most High wants me to do things. And that's what made Christ, that's that perfection that Christ was talking about, or the scripture that Christ was talking about in Hebrews, chapter 5, verse 9. Read that now in Hebrews chapter 5, verse 9.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 9. And being made perfect.
He said, but what was he perfect in? Perfect in the fact that when I suffer, it ain't about me. I'm just gonna do the Lord. At the end of the day, it's about what the Most High wants. It's not about what I want.
What's the lesson that I have to learn? It's more about the lesson and not about my will.
It's not about his wants, his will. It wasn't about what he wanted. That's how he was made perfect.
That's phenomenal.
Read.
And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation.
And so when he said he became the author is the one who wrote the book. So if you
the playbook.
Yeah, you want salvation, go to the guy that wrote the book on salvation.
And what it takes.
You know what it takes to get salvation? Throw away your will. Throw away your opinion.
And choose to learn the lesson. Choose to learn the spiritual lesson the Most High is teaching you through these experiences. And if you can do that, now you have a chance of gaining eternal salvation. If we learn that, we can truly understand what this entire Israelite thing is about. This is why we always teach. It is that it's more to it than just the law. You see, we can sit back and talk about the 10 Commandments and the 600 whatever laws all dang day long. What does that got to do with giving up your will? It's just the very beginning of it. That's why it talks about how the law was it was a schoolmaster, but it also tells you that it was the outlining of what Christ was going to be. It was really the outlining of what Christ and the life he lived and the template he gave us was really going to teach us and get us to. So, and it's all about how you handle travail, how you choose to see that the obstacles the Most High puts, because once again, that travail is handcrafted for you. And that's the truth also. Everything we battle is handcrafted for us to face and learn to accept. Because what kills us is, why is my travail different from this person's travail? That's what but that's also what? Envy. It's envy. Because in your head, what another person is going through is easier than yours. And that's untrue. Because if travail is made for every man, everybody in their own head is catching what? Hell. So can we learn how to spiritually process that? Anyway, so I think Shams, you want to finish Hebrews 5 and 9. Let's go back. Did you finish that, Shams? Or did you have something else to say?
No, that was just showing how the recipe for Jonathan's success. You know, you're going to have gainsayers and naysayers coming against you, but you know he didn't try to. He wasn't worried about them.
Yeah, he stayed on his objective, and the Most High defended him by using these Greeks and these Edomites to go at all the pestilent men that were cancers in the nation. The truth is this: there's always going to be cancers in the nation. There's always going to be cancers surrounding you. You cannot remove them. So stop. What is the spiritual lesson that you can overcome and use to overcome the negative that's surrounding you or the negative thoughts that keep bombarding you? A lot of us get angry that these thoughts and lusts never leave. The scripture says, resist ye the devil and he will what?
Flee.
But does that mean he don't come back? I always say it back in the day. When I was young in the truth, I thought that the battles I was dealing with would leave once I became a general. I said, well, I'm a general. I ain't going to fight these battles. I'm going to be over. That will be over those things. Because look at those guys. They don't have those battles no more. Then I became a general. Oh, everybody got these battles. Everybody got the same damn battles they had when they was 15. Them monsters are still there. How about that? The pride, the control, the lust, it never leaves. So, like we mentioned earlier, everybody has that wicked tower of Akra in their spirit. So whether it's in you or it's around you, that negative never leaving. So if the negative is never leaving, then what does that have to mean for you? You have to always be on guard. You have to be always prepared to fight. I can't count on my hands how many brothers I've talked to that have this thought that if you fight for a period of time, then you can relax, then you can ease up and it's going to be okay. Then you go to the next battle. But it's never that. You have to always be at war with thoughts. You have to always be on the lookout to challenge negative, weak thoughts, negative perspectives. Those thoughts never completely leave you. All you can really do is to subdue them. Like what's happening in Jerusalem with the Tower of Acre. What did Jonathan do at their best? They just subdued them and kept them boxed in the tower.
And if you're a person that listens to your feelings, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble. If you're one to listen to your feelings,
Yep.
you're in trouble.
Yep.
Because your feelings will deceive you.
Your thoughts and your feelings will control you. And then that means it's reversed. The Jew is in that little Tower of Acre, and all the wicked is all around you controlling things.
Oh.
You got to ask yourself, how do you want this circumstance to be? Imagine you're Jerusalem. Your thinking and your spirit is Jerusalem. Are you going to be surrounded by the wickedness in the Tower of Acre surrounded? Or are you going to sit back here and be Jerusalem and that negative is going to be surrounded in that tower? How do you choose to live your life? Because the negative ain't never leaving. So it's going to either overrun you and you become a servant to it, or you stay on top of it every day and you're able to manage and control the environment. Okay, let's go back and let's do verse 64. 5. So it's 1 Maccabees 10 and 65.
First Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 65. So the king honored him and wrote him among his chief friends and made him a duke and partaker of his dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Afterward, Jonathan returned to Jerusalem with peace and gladness.
Listen, Jonathan returned to Jerusalem with peace and gladness. But Acre is still there. That tower is still there, hovering right over that city. And that presence still hasn't left, because in the next chapter, he's writing a letter to the white man to see if he gets clearance to take out the tower. So once again, is it complete peace?
It's temporary.
It's temporary peace. It's that this 4-letter word's on pause. This is on pause. But you know it's right there waiting for you. It's peace, but it's uncomfortable peace. Isn't that how our battles are? Yeah, you won. You've been studying real good this week, so you're good. But if you stop studying, what's going to happen? You're going to crack. You get that feeling? If you're on point, you studying, you're good.
Yeah.
You sit back here and you stop being in the book, you get a little angry, you let that emotion control you, you're off the edge.
Yep. The meltdown is right around the corner.
The meltdown is right around the corner. And that's how our life is. Until we sit back here and, like Job says, clean hands make the man stronger and stronger. How long can you sustain works of clean hands? Can you keep that clean hands for a long enough period of time to where it's a little easier to maintain that negative? You got to think about this. If these feelings keep popping and popping in your head, you haven't studied long enough to subdue it. So what do? Instead of panicking that the thoughts are there, you have to be willing to attack them long enough to where the thoughts start to be subdued. This is mental and spiritual war. This is warfare. This is when you read in 2 Corinthians 10. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Let's go there. Second Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. Yeah, 3.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
See, a lot of times, he said, just because you're in the flesh doesn't mean the way to solve your problems are fleshly. Because the thing is this, the Most High will sit back here and have travail come to you in the form of a person, a boss, an authority figure, a sister, a brother, in marriage, the offenses can come from many different places. But just because the offense is in the physical, you're not supposed to react physically to the scenario that's in front of you. You have to act spirit. You have to conduct yourself spiritually in response to the physical issues that are in the way of your proper judgment and spiritual thinking.
And if you can't conduct yourself spiritually, you better reach out and counsel.
It's a ball.
Yeah, you better reach out and counsel, and find out who do you need to talk to so you can get a spiritual perspective.
Con. So let's continue.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
The tools to deal with these obstacles that are in our life, the tools that we use to fight our thoughts, our strong emotions, our feelings, our doubts, and our insecurities are not physical. The way we deal with our anger, our heartbreak, our discontentment cannot be physical, cannot be carnal. Read on. We have to find spiritual solutions to our sadness, to our losses, our perceived losses, our perceived adversaries that are around us. How do you spiritually process this? Read on.
But mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds.
So once again, he says the way that you deal with the wars and battles in our flesh is that we have to pull down strongholds. So what does that mean? That means that when you go to Ecclesiastes 40, and the Most High says travail was made for every man, right? So if travail was made for every man, that means travail was made to reveal that there's mighty, wicked strongholds that get in the way of our success. And the travails and the things that we go through have to happen to reveal these carnal strongholds that are inside of us. Our insecurities, our pride, our hate, our doubt, our fear. These are the things that have become strongholds in your spirit that have to be destroyed. A stronghold is anything. Listen, what is a stronghold? It's Accra. It's a tower. Think about that. So these travails reveal these negative, wicked towers that are inside of you that have to get broken down.
And it's right in Jerusalem.
It's right in your brain. It's right in your spirit. There's negative Accras and towers in your spirit that you have that are revealed in the midst of the travail. Your wickedness is being exposed in the midst of your adversity. So our job is to look at this spiritual and not carnal. Because carnally, we want to sit back and say, if you didn't do this, I wouldn't feel this way. If this situation had happened in my life, I wouldn't be facing these feelings and this anger and these emotions. But those things that happened had to happen to reveal what's inside of you. So you understand what to fight. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Read on.
Verse 5. Casting down imagination.
So in order to sit back here and destroy these strongholds or these little mini towers in your spirit, what do you have to do? You have to read that again.
Casting down imagination.
Your imaginations are false ideals about how things should be. That's what an imagination is. First of all, imagination is a fairy tale. Imagination is an untrue thing. So he's letting you know your imaginations is what makes up these towers and these strongholds in your spirit. And half of what fighting your battle is based upon is the realization that how you feel is a lie. If you really want to fight what's inside of you and overcome what's inside of you, how many of us are humble enough to study and research and attain counsel to realize how you feel is a lie? And how you feel. Listen, Let me be more clear about this. What you see might be true, but how you react to it is a what? Is a lie. How you choose to react to it is the lie. Because you can sit back here and clearly see something is wrong, or clearly see something you might feel. Listen, let's just use this. You might see a person do something that you might think is wrong, but how you react to it is evil. How you react to something that you might perceive as wrong, it might be scripturally wrong. But does that give you the right to be evil and have a negative feeling about it and a disposition about it? No. Or a person can do something that's not against the law, but you still feel slighted. And if that's the case, that feeling of being slighted is still an imagination. Just because you feel it doesn't mean that you're justified to feel it. Yes, sir?
It's how you interpret it.
And the interpretation is the lie. The interpretation of how you process your travail is the imagination. Is the lie that has to be what? Casted out or casted down. It's just like in Accra. Was it the tower or was it what the people stood for in that tower? Accra was all about what? Religious freedom. And not being accountable for having to submit themselves to the Most High. And it was the support of freedom and financial freedom.
And a desire for the Greek way.
But that, because the Greek way represented luxury and financial freedom.
Choices. I got choices.
Freedom to choose. That's what Accra represented, and that's why you couldn't get it out of Jerusalem. It was perceived that the Hebrew way was the old way, and the Greek way was the progressive way. Freedom, the pursuit of happiness. That is what we all fight inside of us. Accurate to us is freedom, independence, not having to be subject to all these rules and this discomfort. And in all reality, Accra is an imagination.
Yep. An imagination.
Accra is a false imagination.
It's an imagination that took root and now has become a stubborn plant, a stubborn weed. Because now it ain't going nowhere.
It's not going anywhere. And now it makes it hard every day to fight and break that stubborn weed that ain't going nowhere. All facts. So, continuing on 2 Corinthians. Give me 10 and 5.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 5. Casting down imagination and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High.
The high things that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Most High is your opinion, how you feel. Why is it high? Because we make it the priority. We make our feelings and our thoughts and what we're going through more important than what's right and the obedience of the Heavenly Father. And this is what we're casting down. This is the fight that we all have to fight in serving the Most High. Read on.
And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
And this is the work. Because when you can sit back here and study and read and counsel. The thing about this, you have to study and read and counsel till every thought is brought to subjection. It just lets you know that we don't study long enough, consistent enough to actually get on top of our thoughts. You got to keep reading. The thing about this, have you ever tried this? Have you ever studied for a period of time and your thoughts are somewhat under control, but as you keep going through your battle, the thoughts ramp up again and the verses you use didn't work no more? You ever tried that? Those 5 verses you use, those 8 verses you use, they don't have no lasting effect. What do you do when those 8 verses don't work no more? You better keep digging in that book and counseling and extracting spiritual solutions and every day until those thoughts no longer have power over you. That might take what? Months. But are you truly invested in controlling your spirit? Or are you really don't care and your feelings are more important than fighting your battle? So when you're in the midst of it, you just aren't studying long enough and consistent enough, and your will to continue to look for the answer is waning. Just because your thoughts feel strong, it is still an imagination. And are you committed to destroying and defeating your imagination and every high thought, meaning every prioritized thought has to get brought to subjection to Christ? Because we all have prioritized feelings and thoughts that we think should prevail instead of what's right and what's Christ's way. This is what it takes to break yourself. And this is really what Accra represented spiritually. Can we convince the people that the only way to live is this way? Because there was a poison, there was a sickness, there was a pestilent energy amongst the nation that we don't have to live this way.
Yeah.
And we couldn't extract that from the people. We couldn't convince the nation that living this way was toxic and deadly to us. Living that Greek way was the death of us. Because there was still that strong, heavy belief that there's an easier way. I don't have to live this hard. I don't have to live subject to all these different inconveniences. Why does it have to be this hard? That is what Accra represented to our people. But that Accra is in all of us because we all have to ask ourselves, why do I have to be subject at this level? Yeah. I understand what I have to do. But why do I have to be subject at this rate? This is unfair. This is too much. I didn't sign up to lose this much. I didn't sign up to sit back here and be extended at this level. This is unfair. But the idea and the thought of what we're going through is being unfair. That is a high thought that exalts itself against Christ. Because if I tell myself I shouldn't have to go through this, that means that I'm not lowly. Didn't Christ say I am lowly of heart? What does lowly of heart mean? I'm not above going through anything to please the Most High. So if Christ understood that he wasn't above going through anything to serve Christ, I mean, he wasn't above any type of travail or experience that he had to endure to please the Most High. So we get to tell ourselves, I shouldn't have to go through this, and this to please Christ. How dare us? I'm just giving an explanation about putting every high thought into captivity.
You know, I like what Matthew Henry says. He says nothing is above me but sin. So what he means by that is, meaning minus sin, there's nothing that he won't go through.
Or lose.
Or give himself to. Besides sin, no matter what the Most High put him through, he'll go through it. And that's just a commentator. That's just a man who chose to live dedicated to the Most High. But he says that's the only thing above me is sin. He said, I won't give myself to that. He said, but no matter what else God put me through, I'll go through it.
And that's what being lowly is. Understanding the travail, choosing the spiritual lesson through the travail, and then attacking all the thoughts that try to convince you that you shouldn't have to go through this. Because that's the high thought. I shouldn't have to take this crap from my boss. I shouldn't have to take this crap from my elder. I shouldn't have to endure this crap from my husband. Why did he put me through this? Why do I have to suffer these things? That is what? That is literally bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and also casting out imagination and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Most High. The high thing is, why do I have to go through this? I shouldn't have to experience. I shouldn't have to feel this.
This isn't fair.
This isn't fair. That is a high thought that exalts itself from the Most High in Christ, because you can't endure anything until you come to the realization that I'm not above losing anything. I'm not above losing this, losing time, losing the things I want, losing sleep. I'm not above suffering. If you can convince yourself and choose to realize I'm not above suffering, then everything else can be managed.
Or-
This is why this is why Paul is going into these details, casting down these lies that you tell yourself, and reminding yourself you're not above suffering anything.
Or so and so got it easier than me.
Con.
Or they're not suffering like I'm suffering. Or there's an imbalance somewhere.
But how about everybody's travail, like I mentioned earlier, is handcrafted for them.
You know, I like what Michael Beasley, basketball player, said. He said, envy is a thief of joy. He said, you're too busy worried about what other people got going on. It robs you from the joy that you have in your own hands.
He learned that a little too late, though.
Yeah, I know.
He's playing in China somewhere talking that crap.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He played a one-on-one tournament.
One-on-one, they're big three with a big three now.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But he got caught up. Anyway, everything you said is right, but I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about, man, listen, why weren't you talking that Buddha stuff 10 years ago?
Yeah, I know.
When he was in the league
We were
still.
going crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a great point, though. He said envy is a thief of joy. You worried about what other people got. You can't see what you got in your hand. You can't see the good you possess.
Because the good is, whatever I'm going through, the Most High is teaching me about my spirit. Whatever I'm going through, what's being shown to me. Yes, I'm supposed to learn virtue.
Yep.
But what's being shown to me? The numerous strongholds that are in my spirit. That's what's being revealed to me. When I face travails, travails are handcrafted, designed to reveal your stronghold.
So you saying
Your stronghold is your pride,
yeah.
your desire for control, your negligence, your hate, your impurity, your doubt, your negative outlook. That is the stronghold being revealed in the midst of your travail that is essential so you can have a better readout of fixing you so you have a chance of making it. What are you going to say?
No, it's what we're supposed to be having in us is Hebrews chapter is it Hebrews 12 and 5 or 12 and 11. Let me get it real quick, because he says there are certain things that's supposed to be in us that are not in us that we should have in us. It's Hebrews 12. Read 12 and 5.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children.
Go ahead.
My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord.
So he says, don't hate the what?
The chastening of the Lord.
Because we don't look at the scenarios as just the Most High showing me love.
Yep.
By not giving me my way, or he wants me to learn a lesson. How do you get a child to learn a lesson? You chasten them to learn something.
Yep.
But we don't quantify the chastening as coming from the Lord. We look at it as punishment or suffering that I shouldn't. That's unfair, that I shouldn't be going through. But the whole point of it is just jump down to the point. Verse 11.
Verse 11. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous.
So what we go through in life, we never look at it as what?
Joyous.
We never look at the hardship as joyous. We always look at the hardship as, this is unfair, this is too much, why me? How come everybody else ain't got to go through this? I got to look, life could be so much easier. I could have it so much easier if I just did something different.
But it's joyous. Don't you want to remove all the filth that's inside of you? Don't you care about eliminating the strongholds in you? Because what else can be done to show the Most High we're worthy of the kingdom? We've been going over this long enough to realize just because you follow the law don't mean you making the kingdom. Haven't we gone over that long enough and proven it? So if the law ain't enough, if the law was enough, Christ wouldn't be needed. Right or wrong? What has Christ been trying to show us and drill in our head all these times? You know what? For years, we couldn't process travail properly. Ecclesiastes was talking about travail.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Acra was such an important symbol in Jerusalem? Acra was a reflection of Israel not accepting what travail means and being bitter at the travail the Most High had for all Jews. And that group of pro-Greek guys and gals made a decision that you don't have to live this hard and this difficult. That's what the Greek way. Everybody want to talk about the Greeks and the Sodomitish ways that they had, and we know they were. But it wasn't really about being that. What did being Greek or going Greek represent? I don't have to live such a strict, difficult life that's full of sadness and travail. That's what Accra, that tower, represented. So what does that mean in general? And over all the years?
I can live
Hold on,
godless.
let me finish this. What is that? What was the understanding? That the law and how the Most High was dealing with us, we couldn't process or accept the travail that happened to everybody's life. And we became bitter about our life. All of us that deal with bitterness just haven't accepted how the Most High, what the Most High was putting you through, and never learned the spiritual lessons through everything He was taking you through. That's what Accra represents. And Christ came down here to do what? He said His yoke is light. His burden is easy. Why did He say that Christ's way was easy? Because in our head, serving the Most High was what? Hard. Serving the Most High was difficult and unnecessary. And Christ came to say, listen, serving me is easy. Following my way will take away all the burdens in your life. Christ was trying to convince us how to process the travails that everybody has to go through. Because these travails, we had to teach Christ had to teach Israel that the travails you're going through were necessary, because it exposed negative in you that you have to fix in order to get closer to the Most High in Christ. These things inside of us can't even be revealed unless adversity is presented to you. Think about what David had to experience with Saul. He had to go through that for what? For him to realize that he wasn't as patient as he thought. And that he realized that there was a part of him that wanted to take matters into his own hands and fight his condition and change his course. But what made David so special? He didn't sit back here and change his course. He waited.
Yeah.
And he allowed the Most High to defend him. Why can't we do the same in our life? Why can't we have enough mercy and patience and humility to let the Most High defend us? The reason we can't do it is because we don't believe. And maybe that's our stronghold. That's one of our strongholds. Maybe we don't believe. Maybe we don't trust the Lord that He will defend us. Maybe 20 or 30 years of the Most High looking after you isn't enough evidence. How many more decades do you have to see the Most High looking after you for you to realize the Most High is looking after you? But all these issues that we experience are revealing strongholds that we're all running from, that we don't want to really acknowledge inside of us. This is all, you can go from city to city, place to place, camp to camp. Wherever you go, guess what? You're there. Wherever you go, you're there. And your strongholds and your weaknesses and your flaws are there. And the Most High will just keep bringing up your strongholds and your strongholds, which is your sin. Your flaw will be revealed in the adversarial scenarios you have to face. And can you accept that? If you can, then you can start going to war to defeat these imaginations, your reasons for holding on to these strongholds. We all have false reasons why we believe what we want to believe. And then we tell ourselves that our thoughts, we have exalted thoughts. I shouldn't have to suffer this. I shouldn't have to feel this. I shouldn't have to go through this pain. And the truth is, you should have to go through this pain because there's a lesson there. And what we're doing every day in the camps, in the scriptures, is to destroy these strongholds that are impeding us from pursuing perfection in Christ. Does that make sense? Is there more? There's more in Hebrews, right?
Yeah.
Continue.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous.
Yeah, but we don't look at it like, okay, there's some good coming out of my travail. We never see the good that comes out of travail. We just see the fact that I'm uncomfortable. I don't like my scenario. I don't like the situation. It's too hard for me. It should be easier. Read on.
But grievous.
It said, but what?
Grievous.
That's what travail is. It's grievous. That's what correction is. It's grievous. But we don't look at the lesson and the benefits of handling and navigating a grievous situation. Read on.
Nevertheless,
It says, nevertheless, meaning there's something better to be expected other than just grief. Read on.
afterward,
It says, afterwards, if you adopt the right mentality and not look at the suffering that you're going through as just the Most High hates you or He don't love you. He says, afterward, if you can process the grief and process the travail. Read on.
it yielded.
It said, what comes of it?
It yielded.
It yielded what?
The peaceful fruits of righteousness.
You know what the peaceable fruits of righteousness are? Acceptance, forgiveness, joy, happiness, love, contentment. But you know why that's never the outcome of our mentality? Because you know the outcome of our mentality is anger, pride. I can't stand these people. Why am I here asking questions? Why am I here? Why am I going through this? You know why? Because we're never able to process what the Most High is doing with us. We can't navigate the travail.
This is why we're bad counselors.
Yeah.
We're bad counselors because we don't know how to push people to strength. Because you don't push you to strength. You ever sit back here and a person just can't find the words to push you to strength? Because in your mind, the counselor it's sad that you're going through sadness.
Yep.
I mean, don't counsel that person. If you can't sit back here and push a person to strength because you don't believe in this, don't say nothing. Because aren't you supposed to push people to strength? But you can't push people to strength if you don't believe.
Nope.
Then that also lets you know that you're a non-believer and you got to work on your belief. If you can't counsel somebody because by counseling a person through their battle means I might have to face that battle down the line, what does that reveal in you? You ain't don't believe in the book either. So, you know, or it's a sore spot when you're counseling a sister or a brother about a thing. You know why it's a sore spot? Because you're twins in stronghold. You're stronghold twins.
You know, it's,
you as a sister have the same stronghold they got. You're strong. What's that? Stronger bonds?
Trauma.
Yeah, trauma bonds. Yeah, but it's stronghold. Let's get used to biblical words. Everything says trauma. But you know what it is? It's sickness bonds. We're sick in the same thing.
you know, the irony of it is, though, we had a brother, I'm not going to say no name, we had a brother that said, you know, I can't give brothers push-ups because I don't believe in push-ups.
That's what I know. Trauma bonds.
Yeah, I don't feel right giving brothers push-ups. Then left the truth, became a drill instructor. So
Giving people push-ups.
giving people push-ups.
Right, left, right. Drop.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Why are you dropping people now?
We did it for the Greeks, though.
Yeah,
And to get paid, you did it for the money. Why can't you get women? Con.
that's a true story, too.
True story.
I don't believe in doing that.
Bro. But with white men, you get a little fancy white man hat?
Yeah,
With that straight hat around?
I think
You get you a nice suit? You get a nice little brown suit out?
I believe it.
yeah.
I believe it now.
You don't give me stripes, massa? Let me stop. Keep going on.
No, I'm just saying that it's funny how people will say what they can't do and suffer, and then go suffer it right after they say they can't suffer.
You know what he should have said is I'm not getting paid enough to do this.
There you go. That would have been more honest.
That's honest. I'm not getting paid enough to make people do push-ups. That's it. But listen. You're saying what people still face now. If you're not comfortable counseling a sister through strength or a brother through strength, maybe you got a flaw in you that you got to fix. And maybe you're going to have to face that down the line. Maybe you might have to face that down the line. And can you sit back here and you might want to start digesting that when you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Just saying. But keep going in your.
No, that's it. That was it.
Because I actually like Hebrews 12. Let's keep going.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous.
So listen. So when you're dealing with that sadness and that depression and that anxiety and the ups and downs, that is par for the course when the Most High is correcting you. And the Most High is checking you, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel these ups and downs and that sadness and that loneliness. That's what's supposed to happen. Read on.
But grievous. Nevertheless,
He says correct when the Most High is correcting you. and all those insecurities and fears and doubts and your mind going through all these things, he said it's going to be grievous. Because this is how the Most High reveals what's inside of you. Read on.
Nevertheless, afterward, it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
It doesn't tell you how much spiritual exercise you need to gain peace, though. He says at the end, you'll find peace and you'll find the fruit of righteousness, meaning what? You'll gain the virtue from what you're going through. For at least the ones who sit back and exercise their spirit, they'll gain the virtue. What does that mean? If you study long enough and you commit yourself to figuring out what the spiritual lesson is, you'll find peace. But you still have to put how many man hours does it take to study through your battle and your grievous chastisement until you find peace of mind. This is what we haven't practiced doing. How long can you go and study until you push to the other side and get the understanding of it? What do we want to do? We want to run from the battle, run from the discomfort, complain and leave. Versus study and read and study and read and keep studying to find the peace and the understanding through the grievous discomfort that we're facing. Read on.
Verse 12. Wherefore, lift up the hands which hang down.
So what is he saying? When the Most High sits back here and chastises us, and that pain feels grievous, he said, sit back here and lift up the hands that hang down. Stop moping. Stop being depressed and get to work. Because Paul understands in the middle of chastisement what you want to do. You want to just crawl up in a corner and just die. Or you just want to just keep covers over you and just keep the room dark like a vampire. Because you're going through battles. He says, stop having your head down, quit your belly aching, and start going to work to sit back and figure out the lesson the Most High has for you. You know, if you're stressed out and you can't go to sleep, guess what you do? Get up, get off your butt and study. If you're feeling low, instead of crying, do what? Get up and study. When you want to sit back and mope and feel sorry for yourself, get up and study about the virtue the Most High is trying to teach you through the issue. What is the stronghold he's trying to show you that you have to break down? What's that?
I was saying there's something in it. There's some good in it.
So he's saying, stop feeling sorry for yourself and search for the solution while you're being chastised, while you're being grievously chastised.
That definition of that word grievous got a lot to it. One of them is provoking, offensive, tending to irritate.
Mm-hmm. And that's what happens when you're suffering. It's ultimate irritation, ultimate discomfort. And he's like, listen, when you're uncomfortable and unhappy and sad and all that stuff, are you studying? Are you standing up and lifting up your hands that hang down? Read on.
Lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees.
And those feeble knees that make you want to stop fighting, that make you want to sit back here and feel sorry for yourself. He's like, stop feeling sorry for yourself and work on learning the lesson he's trying to teach you. And make the decision to attack these strongholds that you know is in you.
There's no hope for me.
Yes, why am I doing this? Maybe I should leave. Maybe this isn't meant for me. All those disparaging, woe is me, the sky is falling thoughts. He says, stop living like that. Stop moving like that. Get out of your head. Get out of your psychosis and start fighting you. And make a decision that this is revealing and exposing strongholds in me that I have to break. Am I going to fight or not? Am I going to study and read and commit myself to these scriptures while I'm not feeling good? You know the hardest time to study is when you're sad. The hardest time to study is when you're depressed.
That's the best time.
What?
Because
it's the best time, but it's the hardest time.
It's the best time because that's when the word is going to start popping out to you.
Okay.
The information pops off the page because now, all right, this is it. This is a solution. This is an angle. Okay, this is something else I was showing me. But when there's a good, And you're reading, just reading this stuff for entertainment.
Yeah.
There's a difference between reading for solutions versus reading for entertainment.
Huh. And you know what happens when people are sitting back here and they're sad and they're crying and they have feeble knees? That's really wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
That's really evil. And that's really a person not fighting their battle.
Somebody's sympathy pimping.
Thank you. That's sympathy pimping. Huh?
Yeah.
It's pimping. It's pimping. It's pimpulation. Huh?
Yeah.
It is pimping. You know, people sit back here and the yeller and screamer is the wicked. I've seen this for decades. The person who's vocalizing their issue is evil, is not kind. But the person who cries is just going through battles. They're just going through the battles of Job. Look at her cries and she's just crying out. She just doesn't have the words to express her battle. She's such an humble person. Look at her crying. She's crying. And the person who sits back here and vocalizes, they're the devil. How about they're both the devil? How about the yeller and arguer is the devil and the person who cries in your face is the devil?
Sneaker.
How about that? Because neither are fighting their battle. How about neither are studying? So the one that's, oh, you don't love me, get out of here, you don't love me. That person don't read the Bible. And the person who's yelling ain't reading the Bible. So why is the person who's crying,
Get the hell out of here.
Why is the person who's crying gets the attention? When they're just as wicked as the person keeping it real. Listen, it's the
Great
truth.
question.
Because neither are going in that book to fix their outlook. One person who ain't crying, one person who's crying, they're still not studying.
No.
They just know how to push down their evil and have an evil with a smile. You ever seen Israel that does that?
Yep.
I'm negative as hell, but I can smile my ass off like, hey. Hey, you have that hand like this?
Yeah.
But you're evil as hell inside that? You're like, no, succotash. I hate this person. I hate this. Like, I hate this person. I hate what I'm going through. I hate. But shalom.
Yeah.
That's evil because you're not attacking your strongholds. And neither is the one keeping it, or they're not attacking their strongholds either. Am I right or wrong? Now we're just dealing with preference.
Yep. That's the problem.
Right? That's why there's a verse where it says beauty is vain, but it's something else.
Favor is deceitful.
Favor is deceitful. Just because I favor you don't mean you're in the spirit. The scriptures cut right to the core. Are you studying? Are you acknowledging your strongholds? And are you fighting? Are you attacking every high thought that exalts itself against Christ? Or are you just crying? This is why Hebrews 12 says, listen, lift up your hands with your hang down like this. Get your hands up and all these feeble knees that can't do nothing because I'm so sad. Get off your butt and fight your battle.
For the Lord.
Whether you're the one that wants to break things and break glass and bust holes in walls or cry. Cry yourself to sleep. It's both wrong. Go to work. Read verse 13.
Verse 13. And make straight paths for your feet.
He says, and after you stop crying and complaining and being sad, make straight paths. Establish good habits, good spiritual habits, and stop living in this imagination town. Because the imaginations and the idea that you shouldn't have to go through this is keeping you from growing. He's telling you, put the real work into fixing you. And even he says you got to put the work into fixing you when what you're going through feels grievous, unbearable, taxing, wears you out. Because this is when studying matters the most. Can you study when you don't feel like opening a book? Can you attack you when you don't feel like attacking you? And how long can you sustain attacking you when you don't feel like it? That will determine if at the end this process yields peaceable fruit of righteousness. Because at the end, I'm supposed to see the good in what I just experienced. How many of us would have raised? No, don't raise your hand. Hypothetical raise your hands. Mm-hmm. How many experiences have you experienced in the truth where you're bitter? You're angry. You're unsatisfied. You think you've been wrong. Count them out in your head. That's how many losses you got in you. That's how many strongholds are still there in you, in which you have failed the lesson. For every bitter experience, male or female, that means you lost. I know many bitter men that have been in the truth for many years. And it's bitter as hell. That means you've been taking L after L after L, not fighting you. But they're still pulling verses.
Yep.
Still pulling scriptures. Let me teach you the scriptures. Cool. But let's fix this mountain of strongholds, stronghold graveyards in your spirit too. Men do it, women do it.
Only women do it, right? That's the game.
Some people might say
That's
that.
the game. Only ribs. Only the ribs.
Only the ribs have that. You're not fighting your battles. Only I fight my battles. Okay. The truth is this.
That's because the scripture says there's no wickedness above the wickedness of a woman.
See that?
See that?
I'm off.
Or at least there's one righteous man out of 1,000 men. There's no righteous women
See that?
on earth. On the planet. On the planet, there's no righteous women.
Maybe one every 2,000.
No, that's not what Solomon said. There's no righteous woman.
See, it's all
At least there's a couple righteous men. So I'm in the.
The scripture says Eve sinned first.
Eve sinned.
All that stuff. Listen,
Yeah.
what am I trying to say? What are we trying to say? Is we have to make a decision to break what's inside of us, and there has to be enthusiasm to break what's inside of you, male or female.
Because you're a child of God.
Ton.
Can we remember that? You are a child of the Most High. This book is written for His children. Therefore, all His children are responsible for executing His word.
Ton.
We're just hiding behind titles and body parts. I don't have to study. I don't have to have a husband. Let him study.
And that's the thing. That's what sisters do too.
I don't have to get the kingdom.
I have a husband. I don't got to study and break what's inside of me.
I don't got to get
That's
the kingdom.
not true.
He'll get the kingdom for me. What? Maybe not.
Remember Lot's wife. That's what
Remember
Christ
Lot's wife.
How about you're supposed to please your husband, do what you're told, and fix your battles? And even if your husband might not see an issue with you, does that mean the issue ain't there? If a tree falls in the forest, did it actually fall? The answer is yes.
Nobody heard it.
Yeah. If nobody heard it, hell yeah, it's on the
I
ground.
didn't want to hear it.
It's actually on the
I
ground.
didn't hear the tree. Ain't no trees falling. I want to get some sleep.
The problem is there's still issues that you got to fix in you.
Yes.
So you should have to have inventory of you. Where is your accountability? Anyway, what are we explaining at the end of Hebrews 12 is that when the Most High chastens you, it doesn't feel good. But in the midst of it not feeling good, are you man enough or woman enough to keep breaking what's inside of you while you're unhappy? And can you attack what's inside of you, study and exercise? Can you exercise your spirit through studying and attacking these imaginations until you get to the end and it yields a peaceful fruit? The peaceful fruit of righteousness. So you have to keep attacking your negative perceptions of what you're going through until you can be at peace with the entire experience that you've gone through.
Or be a slave to comfort.
Or have all these strongholds in you at the end when you're judged. What are you going to tell the Most High about what you've done with your time? What were you? I went to class 3 days a week. 3 days a week, and I've listened to all the 900 classes online. Isn't that good enough? No. What strongholds are you breaking in you? Your pride, your ego, your selfishness, your hatred. Why are you bitter about your life when the Most High gave you those travails you were supposed to experience? That means you're mad at God. If you're bitter in you for anything you've experienced, you're really bitter at the Most High. So I would suggest that you take the time to go through everything you're bitter about and study to the point and exercise your spirit enough to where there is peaceable fruit at the end of the experience. If not, you're not doing your job. And you're not pleasing the Most High the way you're supposed to. Read on. Read verse 13.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 13. And make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way.
He says, you better keep sitting back here and make straight paths for your feet. Because if you don't keep, what does that mean?
It's real.
You better sit back here and eliminate that bitterness in you. You better sit back here and eliminate those strongholds out of your
You
spirit.
better straighten up.
If you don't straighten up your process, how you do things, how you carry yourself, you don't practice exercising your spirit. He says, lest that which is lame be turned out the way. What does it mean by that which is lame be turned out the way?
That which is weak about you.
Thank you. Those things that you didn't fix in you is going to be the cause of your downfall. You better fight those things inside of you so that you have enough to last. Because those things that are lame in you is your bitterness, your over-skepticism, your anger at the Most High, your sadness and depression about your condition. Those are lame elements that have to be removed. And if you don't remove them, he said what? They'll be turned out of the way. Read on.
But let it rather be healed.
He said you got to heal those things that are lame in you. How do you heal your bitterness? You got to be able to understand that the Most High put this in front of you, and there was a spiritual lesson that you had to explain.
And you know, he's identifying that each and every one of us have a handicap that needs to be fixed.
Yep.
We're all handicapped, some spiritually, some physically, but all spiritually. We have a handicap spiritually.
And the hell you catch reveals your handicap. The sickness or the travail you go through exposes your handicaps.
Yep.
And the lame aspects of you. So are you going to sit back here and work on the lame aspects of you so you can be at peace with every experience you have? Or those lame aspects of you are going to cause you to fall away and get taken out? It's very clear, man. And it gets even more clear. Read it. So he says, choose to be healed. But you can only be healed if you exercise your outlook. Exercise your perspective. Read verse 14.
Verse 14. Follow peace with all men.
So I still got to see the peaceful scenario in my dealings with all people. Read on.
And holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord.
You can't see the Lord if you have bitterness and hostility to the people you've worked with every day. But the Most High brings negative people in your life to reveal the negative inside of you. So even though he reveals negative people and brings them to you, you have a responsibility to still be at peace with all men and to operate in holiness with all men, all people, all circumstances.
I mean, I got to see the good in them.
And that regardless of how they're treating you. That's what husbands got to do for wives. Regardless of if your wife is sitting back here and has done something wrong to you or offended you, you still have a responsibility to see the good in them. Because if you can't counsel them and you can't fix them. And you won't see the Lord if you can't see the good in the people you're responsible for. Or the people the Most High brings to you in your life. Why do you get a chance to see the Lord if I can't see the good in my life and in the circumstances surrounding my life? Why should I see the good in the Lord when I couldn't see the good in the Lord every day on earth? Think about that. Follow peace with all men. See the good in all men, in all the circumstances you're going through, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Why get the opportunity to see the Lord when you can't see how the Lord has been blessing you every day in your life? If you can't see the good every day in your life, why get rewarded to see the actual Lord? You ain't going to see the Lord. Because you don't have the capacity to see the good and how the Most High has enriched your life.
And you won't see the good of the Lord anyway.
That's my point. If you can't see the good of the Lord here, why are you going to see the Lord when it counts? You don't deserve it. Read on.
Verse 15. Looking diligently.
What are you looking diligently for? To see the good in everything in your life. What is diligent? It is painstaking effort to see the good in the battles the Most High puts you in. You have to fight your tail off to see the good and the lesson in the travail that you experience. That's why I said it's painstaking effort it takes to see the good when everything around you might perceive as bad. Read on.
Lest any man fail of the grace of the Most
And
High.
this is scary. What is grace? It's getting something you don't deserve. So if you want to keep getting the little blessings you get, you better learn how to with painstaking effort, see the peace in all men, husbands, brothers, camp experience, life. You better see the good in all of it. And what's the good? It's the spiritual lesson the Most High is showing you through all your battles. What was the good in it? Not the bad, the evil. What was the good in the correction, the losses, the ups and the downs? That's our job. We are commanded to do that. And if you don't, you will fall from the grace of the Lord. Read on.
Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you.
That's scary. He's telling you you're going to lose the grace of the Most High if you allow bitterness to root up in you. Anger and bitterness and frustration about your life, that's a one-trip ticket away from the Most High's grace. Who wants that? Who wants to live like that? That's the worst thing in the world. Read it from the top, verse 15.
Verse 15. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High.
We better sit back here with painstaking efforts. Fight to make sure we can see the good in our experiences and not be bitter. Because if you're bitter, you're going to fall from the grace of the Most High. Read on.
Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
This is why if you can sit back here, know the law, know the scriptures, be a Bible whiz kid, but if you're bitter, you're still what? Defiled. So we have to sit back and fight every day not to be bitter, not to say why me, why to say my life is unfair, why am I going through the things I'm going through? This is cruel and unusual punishment. When you sit back here and you're in that spirit, you are fueling bitterness, and that bitterness is what's going to keep you from the grace of the Heavenly Father. Your lack of an ability to calibrate the travail the Most High has created for you.
Because that initiates sin.
And that is the living symbolism of what we've been reading about Jonathan, how that Tower of Akron was all about not being happy with the life God gave us. That's all Akron was. And in our life, we have those strongholds about not being happy with the life that we have. All those strongholds is what's going to keep you from the bitterness or keep you from the grace of the Heavenly Father. Because we just can't get past the fact that why is my life the way it is? Why didn't I have this? I deserve this. I deserve that. Those are exalting thoughts that will keep you from the knowledge of Christ.
I say the knowledge of Christ means you can't comprehend the information. You can't comprehend what you need to properly function spiritually. Because you might be able to get the academic aspect of the book. You'll know Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the 40 years of peace. You know about the wars. You know about Moses,
knowledge,
the laws. You know about the prophecy. But you won't know the proper mentality to function with Christ, to please Christ when you're in His presence.
There is a proper mentality. Go to Matthew chapter 18, verse 3.
Yeah.
Read that.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. And said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted.
It said, first of all, let's read verse 1 to get the point.
Matthew chapter 18 and verse 1. At the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
Go ahead.
And Yahushua called a little child unto him.
He brought to answer that question amongst the disciples. What was the demonstration that Christ put on? He said he did what?
And Yahushua called a little child unto him.
He said, y'all want to know the answer? Who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Brought the little baby over to him, little child over to him, young child. Read.
And set him in the midst of them.
Go ahead.
and said, Verily I say unto you,
He said, truly I say unto you what?
except ye be converted.
It says, except ye be converted. Now, can you go back in time? Can you turn your age back? No, you can't. So obviously the conversion is where? It's in the mind. Because you can't turn your physical age back. You can't turn your body back to a child's body. He said, except you be converted. So the conversion is not the physical. The conversion is in the mental. He says, except you be converted, read.
And become as little children.
But come as little children where? In the mind. What does it mean by that? How can you become a little child? You know why? You know what adults don't do? You know what happened to adults? Adults have scars. Adults have baggage. Adults got bitterness. Adults have become sour grapes. They become bitter, sour, cranky people. Old and cranky. I don't know why they put. Now I know why they put them two words together. Old and cranky. Now I understand. They go together. You know, because you get more bitter and you get less patient with people. The older you get, the less you want to tolerate. The less you want to fool with people. So what is he saying? The conversion has to be in the mind. It has to be in here. But in what way? We're going to explain. But read on.
Except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
First of all, you worried about who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Christ said you won't even get into the kingdom of heaven. That is a prerequisite. Remember, children are known for innocence. They have an innocent outlook. They're known for believing, for being easily believing, and easily impressed upon, naive to a point. So he said you won't even get into the kingdom of heaven unless you convert your mind out of what? From whatever it is that is that handicap that we have that has taken root over time. And we'll explain what that is too. Go to Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Go to chapter 11. They worried about who the greatest. Christ said you won't even get in. Yeah, you denied entry. You worried about the wrong things. You know what it's showing? The Most High not letting no bitter people in the kingdom of heaven. No angry people in the kingdom of heaven. Read this right here. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 9.
Ecclesiastes chapter 11 and verse 9. Rejoice, O young man.
You know what the young man or the young child's known for? What are children known for? Being happy. You know what adults don't know how to be anymore? They don't know how to be happy. Children are known for you can give them some rocks and some marbles and they're going to have some fun with it.
That's real.
You give them some silly putty and they'll be there. You give them some bubbles. You can blow some bubbles and they just go crazy over the simplest thing. The simplest thing makes them happy. You give them the most simplest thing and they'll have fun with it. Stick ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wall ball. It's a ball in a wall. And they'll just throw the ball at the wall all day. Just throw the ball at the wall. They know how to be happy off the simplest things. The older you get, nothing makes you happy. Nothing. You don't find joy in nothing. All my bills is paid. Now I can at least smile out of this. All my bills are paid. I'm out the hole. I'm happy now. Nothing the Most High can do for you makes you happy. Most High put people in your life, not happy enough. The Most High feeds you every day, not good enough. Yep. The Most High gave you a roof over your head, not good enough. Nothing's ever good enough. You at least got a vehicle, may not be the one you want, but you got something, not good enough. You don't got the clothes you got, not good enough. Nothing that the Most High do for you is ever good enough. Read.
Rejoice, O young man.
He said, but the young man is known for being able to rejoice over some simple things. He says, in thy youth. It's a young perspective. Our people have gotten away from even what it feels like to be happy.
Pure perspective, yes.
A pure positive outlook. Read.
And let thy heart cheer thee.
It says, let thy heart what?
Cheer thee.
So what is Christ talking about when he's talking about if you don't got this kind of this mentality of this child, you can't even get into the kingdom of heaven. Mm-hmm. What is the child known for? They're known for their rejoicing. They're known for their
appreciation.
Their cheer. Little things make them happy. Mm-hmm. He says, thy cheer, what?
And let thy heart cheer thee.
He said, and let your mind be happy again. Our people are not happy anymore.
Yep.
And this is why Christ has to teach this lesson about this is the ticket into the kingdom of heaven. You got to get your joy back. You got to get your happiness back. We don't know how to be happy anymore. We're just grumpy and old.
Yep.
And unappreciative and unthankful. And mad about everything.
Yeah.
Read on.
In the days of thy youth.
It says, in the days of thy youth, read.
And walk in the ways of thy heart.
You know why it says walk in the ways of thine heart? Because a child or a young person is innocent. They're happy. They're joyful. We forget what it's like to have that innocent, joyful, easy to please mentality of a child. Read on.
And in the sight of thine eyes.
It says, and in the sight, that means a pure perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Children have pure perspective. They have a pure outlook. Our outlook is contaminated. And that's why we can't have that childlike mentality, because we're too contaminated. Everything's a problem. The world's falling apart. Everybody's against me. I'm angry. I don't feel like doing anything today. A kid is ready to have fun every single day. They rise up looking for fun. They're ready to have a good time. They're ready to go outside and play and enjoy the butterflies in the trees.
They're gonna make a mountain out of a molehill.
They're gonna do everything.
No, I said it the wrong way. They're gonna sit back and make the best out of what they got.
They're gonna make the best out of what the Most High give them. They don't need much. We're the ones that have become stale. We've become bitter and angry. Read on. We're the one that lost our positive outlook. Read on.
But know thou.
He says, but understand this. A child got to understand this. You can't live like that forever. Meaning what? Read.
That for all these things the Most High will bring thee into judgment.
Meaning, if you don't retain a pure outlook, if you get bitter and sour, it's gonna be brought to what?
Judgment.
It's gonna be brought to judgment. That's why he's telling you about what? Read on.
Therefore, remove sorrow from thy heart.
What is he saying? You got to protect yourself from sorrow. You got to maintain an innocent, pure perspective and positive and joyous at all times. And stop being angry over this. We let the simplest things just ruin our whole mood or take us out of the spirit.
Yeah.
We don't even be in the spirit of even fellowshipping. We don't even want to be around nobody. We don't want to fellowship. There's something happening with the perspective. Your positivity is being compromised.
Yeah.
Read on.
And put away evil from thy flesh.
He says, put away. He says two things you got to do. Number one was what?
Remove sorrow from thy heart.
Stop being angry. Stop complaining.
Yep.
Stop being emotional.
Yep.
Stop letting things just overrun joy and rob you of joy. And the second thing he says is do what?
And put away evil from thy flesh.
Read on.
For childhood and youth are vanity.
Go ahead.
Remember.
No, that's it. So he said even the mistakes the child make, he said is vanity. So don't make mistakes. But the mistakes that people make, they lose their joy. They lose their ability to rejoice. They lose their ability to look at things pure.
But they had it from the beginning.
They had it.
That's the issue. The issue is you were given the gift from the first time you took your breath. You were given the gift that the Most High wanted you to have.
Yep.
We actually give the gift away.
Yeah.
We actually, what's the word for not giving it away? We relinquish.
Yeah, we relinquish the gift of joy, of happiness. Because we get too affected by the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now we contaminate it. So that's why Christ said, listen, to get into the kingdom of heaven, you want to know who the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Bring the little child up. You gotta convert yourself like this little child.
That's your competition.
Yeah. That's the standard.
That's the standard.
That's the standard. The childlike mentality is the standard. Yes, sir.
I'll say you're supposed to learn from the things that you go through, but not let them make you bitter.
Exactly.
Well, listen, Con, but you know why? Why be bitter if there was a spiritual lesson there?
And you wanted virtue in the first place.
I thought we were here to grow.
No, not really.
No. We want things out the deal. And that's what we're going to read. Let me know when you finish with that.
God, we're done.
Go back to Hebrews 12 and 15 again. Read verse 14 down to like 17.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 14. Follow peace with all men and holiness.
So what is it saying is, when it says to all men, it's based off all your experiences. And it's a responsibility to follow peace. in all experiences and holiness with every experience that we endeavor. Read on.
Without which no man shall see the
You
Lord.
can't see the Most High if you can't learn to see the good and the lesson in everything we go through, whether it's a benefit or a travail. If you can't see the lesson in the husband the Most High has for you, the husband, whether the husband has good virtues or bad virtues, there's a lesson there. Can you embrace and accept the good and the bad with your husband, the good and the bad with your boss, the good and the bad with the brothers you work with? Can you accept the good and the bad? If you cannot accept the good and the bad and see the lesson in it, you won't see the Lord. Read on.
Looking diligently.
And then the challenge a lot of times, some people is harder than others to sit back and see the good in them. Right?
Yep.
So there's some people you work with, you really got to put the work in to see the virtue. Then others, how dare you not see the good in this person? But either way, it's our responsibility to see the good and diligent. Are you putting the work in to see the good in your circumstance? Yes or no? But it's work and it's an exercise of your spirit to see the good in your experience. And how hard are you prepared to study and research and counsel to see the good in what you're going through? A lot of us fail with that. But read on.
Lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High.
Because we don't want to lose the blessings we get. Because we're still getting things we don't deserve. We're still getting blessed in ways that we don't deserve. When we start sitting back here and losing the capability of seeing the good in what the Most High has given you, you'll start losing the things that you were getting, and your conditions will keep getting worse and worse and worse. Read on.
Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you.
Because what's going to happen is you're going to start losing because that bitterness has too much control in you. You can't operate with frustration, disgust, and bitterness about the conditions the Lord put you in. But read on.
And thereby many be defiled.
And we have to fight to keep that defiled spirit from us. And like Shamshawan said, being a child in mindset is how you neutralize it. And it's a good anchor to see where you're at in the spirit. Read on.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Everybody wants to talk about the white man. How bad the white man is. Mr. Charlie. Of the U.S. Now this is all that stuff. Everyone talk about the white man, how bad he is. He's saying that a lot of ungrateful Israelites roll like the white man. He's comparing our lack of appreciation and our bitterness and our lack of a capacity to see the good in what we have to the bad guy, the red man, the red-haired man. We're no different when we're ungrateful. What he's saying is when we're unappreciative and spoiled and can't see the good, we're no different than Esau. Because what did Esau do? Esau gave up the blessing he had because he didn't see the value and the good in it. What do we do every day? We sit back here and give up the good we have in our life because we don't see the good in what we got. How many times did you want to sit back and trade the good life the Most High has promised for us for another life in the world? And we tell ourselves there's got to be an easier way to live. Isn't that the spirit of Esau? Yep. When we're not content with the life the Most High gave us? This is what Esau did. He said, whatever the Most High gave me now, it ain't that valuable. I'd rather go ahead and eat and get what I want and change the course of my life because I don't value my birthright.
He didn't value his birthright.
But we don't value the life the Most High gives us. How do you know we don't value the life the Most High gives us? Because we're angry, we're depressed, we're sad, we have anxiety. Nothing's ever good enough. All we do is scrutinize our husbands, see the bad in our husbands, see the bad in our bosses, see the bad in our circumstances. If that's not the spirit of Esau, what is?
Remember, Esau said, he said, what is this birthright going to do for me? I'm at the point to die.
That's the point.
I mean, this birthright don't do me no good.
Just like serving the Most High don't do you no good. That's why you're unhappy with your life. Why else are you unhappy? Because this life ain't doing me no good. It's not doing me the level of good I think I deserve. So let me look for another life, another way out.
Another way.
So the spirit that's in you was the spirit of Esau. Nobody want to hear that one.
It's the truth.
That's taboo word.
It's
Don't
the-
say
no, no, no.
I will like the white
No.
man. Yes, you do.
It's the same.
Because the white man's was unappreciative, and so are you.
The same deficiency.
Yep.
It's a lack of appreciation and a willingness to trade off the good you have here for a more comfortable, easy life. Is that not the same issue that we deal with? The answer is con. Because our morbid, sick, negative minds can't get past what we're not getting out the deal. Just like Esau. That's why Esau always wants more. That's why Esau's never is satisfied with what he has. Just like you're not satisfied with what you have. Is it not the same spirit?
No, because I got browner skin.
Yeah, I'm brown skinned.
So there's no way. I'm
I
melanated.
got braids,
I'm
I got
melanated.
beards and braids, so it ain't the same.
I'm melanated, so you can't
And
see.
I say, how about send me out shop like
My bad.
I'm on those 12 tribe signs.
I'm not angry.
But you are. You are if you're not appreciative about what the Most High has given you. You are if you have bitterness in your heart about anything the Most High has put you through in your life. You better do your homework and do your spiritual exercising to come and find peace in all the circumstances in your life in which you're bitter. That is your responsibility. And if you choose not to do that, because it's a choice, you're no different than the ungrateful one, Esau.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1. And that is always easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it has to be done. It has to be done. Read that.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1.
Read.
This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you,
Go ahead.
in both which I stir up your pure mind.
What has to be stirred up?
Your pure mind.
What do you have to get stirred up? You know what that means? If the pure mind needs to be stirred up, then what happened to the pure mind?
It was no longer pure. It was dirty.
You know how sediments fall down at the bottom of the mud, and it looks clear on top, but it's murky at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, the pure mind settled down at the bottom. It's no longer present at the top. It's no longer on the surface.
It's no longer visible.
It's no longer visible. What is visible is that negativity, though. What the hell am I doing? Why I got to keep doing this? Or these people piss me off, get on my nerves, or this is stupid. You know, I don't like what I'm going through.
Even insecurities is still bitterness.
Yeah.
It's an aspect and form of bitterness. Because if I'm insecure, that means in my mind I'm not gonna get what I deserve out the deal. It's still bitterness. It's like being a content. If that's in your heart, that's got to get fixed. That's got to get broken. Or you're standing the risk of not seeing the Lord at the end. And that's the fact. You Hannah? I thought oh, sorry. Keep going. That was perfect.
He said what?
From the top.
Yep.
This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure mind.
He said the reason I'm writing this letter is I'm trying to get you back positive again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get you back in a positive
To see
state
the
of mind.
good in things.
Because obviously, if you don't remind people of what good it is around them, they'll get lost in the negativity.
Yep.
They'll drown with the
sorrow.
idea that life sucks and that my situation sucks.
And this Israelite life is not worth it. It's too hard.
Yep.
Everybody else is smiling and living the life they want to live. Why do I have to live such a difficult life? That has been plaguing the Jews since the beginning of time. That was the jealousy that we had even when we was in Canaan, and we kept wanting to do what the Canaanites did.
Yep.
They get freedom. How come I can't have freedom? So let me sit back and follow their idols and pursue their freedom. It was always about the desire for freedom, and the life we had was too rigid, and not finding peace of mind and happiness in what the Most High gave us. Bitterness ended up leading us to idolatry.
Yep.
That's why Christ says, I'm not going to see. I'm not going to see the bitter.
Because
and the ingrates.
And this is what happened with Esau. I sat back and gave him my birthright because I didn't see the value in being disciplined enough to keep these laws and rules. Why do that? I might as well eat this red meat. I don't see the value in staying in order. I don't see the value in having to have all these restraints on me.
Benefit?
You know what he couldn't even see? He couldn't even see past the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Esau was able to say, you know what, this birthright might benefit my kids. let me go ahead and keep this birthright because my kids might get. So my
Yeah.
kids can get. Even if I die, at least I got something to pass down to my kids. This birthright.
The Jew don't sit back here and look at their next generation before they make decisions.
Yeah.
Do we sit back here and say, think about how is my actions going to affect my kids and my family? We think that way? Hell no, we don't. We make selfish, destructive moves because of what you're going through.
Yep.
Sorry, son.
We're no different than Esau.
Because I got desperate. Because Esau got desperate.
Because I'm depressed. Or I'm depressed. I'm sad. Because I shouldn't be so sad. That's not how a person's life should be. Well, why are you looking at it sad? Because you're not exercising your spirit to see the good in it. Everything boils down to how well and how at peace you are about what the Most High put you through. That was the difference between the Jews that died off that generation and the second generation that came in. The first generation wasn't appreciative and couldn't see the good in what the Most High was putting them through.
So they couldn't see the land.
And so they didn't get a chance to see the land. And when we're not appreciative, we don't get a chance to see the Lord. It's still the same concept that's been repeated generation after generation after generation. Do y'all see it?
Same lesson.
It's the same lesson that we haven't figured out. So Christ had to come down here and give us more details on how to see the good in what the Most High is putting us through. Then Paul had to come down and do the same thing. Bro, you got more on that?
Huh.
Keep going.
Read.
I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance.
It said you got to remind people of how to think positive.
And remember how good the Most High has been to you.
But people forget how to think positive. Think about that. How can you forget to think positive? You forget that. It's like,
Well, Ecclesiastes 11
it's
says
atrophy. Because when you don't use a certain muscle for a period of time, it atrophies. You lose the ability to use that part of your body because you haven't exercised it.
you haven't been exercised.
You haven't exercised.
Yep. And affliction in an hour makes a man forget pleasure.
Yeah.
It's that too. But what we don't want to realize is the affliction. Why the affliction come? Maybe the affliction came because you weren't obedient in the first place. And how about the Most High gave you mercy? Because whatever you're going through, it should have been worse. You should have lost it versus you getting stung and you don't have it like you used to have it. But we don't look at things that way. We're totally consumed with what we think we deserve. But anyway.
And demand blessings.
And then when we don't get the blessings, everything's a problem.
Yep.
Then God's not fair. You got more?
Yep. Read on.
That ye may be mindful.
It says because you need to be reminded to be positive so that you can keep a what? What do it mean? Mindful, a full mind. Same thing.
Yeah.
But your mind should be full of what? Positivity. Your mind should be full of pure thoughts.
Yep.
You should have a mind full of pure thoughts. Read.
Of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets,
Go ahead.
and of the commandments of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior.
What will happen if you're not mindful of all these words, which comes from studying the words of the apostles and the prophets? What happens if you're not mindful and your pure mind isn't stirred up? Read.
Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers.
What shall I become if I don't keep a pure mind?
Scoffers.
I'll become a what?
Scoffer.
What's a scoffer? Here's the definition of a scoffer.
Some kind of complaining. I scoff at this sacrifice. I scoff at losing this.
Yeah, you'll become like Esau. He scoffed at his birthright.
I'll go into that in a second. We got more than that.
He scoffed at the birthright. That's a scoffer. This don't do me no good.
Hey, I got one. I got it. But it's not 18 though.
You should have went to 18, man. Anyway, whatever. If it's good, it's good.
Scoffer. It says a person that just doesn't a scoffer doesn't just disagree. They mock.
I disagree. I bet you different.
They mock. They taunt or belittle with bitter sarcasm.
Read that again. Read that again.
Pretty good.
That's
pretty good.
That's really good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What does it say?
A scoffer doesn't just disagree. They mock, taunt, or belittle with bitter sarcasm.
They belittle with what?
With bitter
With bitter sarcasm.
sarcasm.
So that's like, say a situation happened that you fallen on hard times. They don't just mock you. They taunt you like that's what you get.
Yeah.
That's what you get for making that decision.
A lot of Jews do that.
Now that's like rubbing it in your face, rubbing your falls or your mistakes in your face. Wow.
It also says impervious to correction.
It can't be corrected.
That's the scoffer.
Because they're so consumed with seeing you fall.
Impervious. It cannot be penetrated with the spirit of correction. The message just doesn't matter enough. They're focused on the messenger.
Yeah.
Or the method.
So read that verse 3 again.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts.
Is it about the Bible? Is it about the Most High's will? It's about whose will?
Their personal.
About their own will. So if you don't see the good in what the Most High has you going through, you'll end up satisfying your own will just like Esau did. Because Esau said, man, nigga, give me that red meat. Forget this birthright. It don't do me no good no way. I'm at the point where I'm about to die.
So let me get it.
Let me get it. It's about my lust.
Yeah.
He forfeited the Most High's inheritance for him to satisfy his own lust.
Yeah.
And that's why he got the name Esau, because he like his meat red.
Red.
So we don't want, but we like our meat red too.
We do.
Because basically we want our lust fulfilled.
The way we want it to happen. The way we
Yeah.
want our lust to be filled. Yeah?
And we refuse to look at things in a pure light. We refuse to see the good that the Most High has given us.
Mhm.
So we operate like Esau too. Now go back to Hebrews.
The one we
chapter
hate,
12.
they say you become the people you hate. That's what they say. They say that.
I believe it.
That's what they say. But it's true.
Probably because you can see elements of that in yourself.
Yeah.
That's probably why you hate it so much. Because you can see that in you.
Where you at?
Hebrews chapter 12. We'll be back in
Okay, let's
Hebrews.
go back. Read verse 16 and 17.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
But we have to make sure we fight not to be profane too. Because we're profane when we're ungrateful. We're profane when we're unappreciative. We're profane when we choose bitterness and anger over the travail the Most High puts us through, over choosing to exercise our spirit and get the lesson from it, the spiritual lesson from it. So in the midst of Esau going through what he was going through, the lesson didn't matter. Satiating his flesh is what mattered. And he gave up his birthright because his flesh needed to be satiated. This is the challenge we all face. When we satiate our flesh and our feelings, we're really compromising our birthright, our opportunity to get to the kingdom. When we choose bitterness and anger and an easier path. Read on.
For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance.
Well, listen, this is important. Read it again from the top, verse 17.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 17. For ye know how that afterward.
So people want to say that because he gave up his birthright, that was it for Esau. The Most High was extremely merciful. Read on.
When he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance.
So what does that mean? From the time that he rejected his birthright until the time that the blessings came out, he had a window of opportunity to do what? Repent. That's what's not talked about. The Most High gave Esau time to say, man, I was wrong for giving up my birthright. Let me sit back here and change my lack of appreciation and learn to appreciate my position of being the number one in the household and the responsibility that came from that. What does that show by the Most High? He's merciful not just to us, but to the entire nation and to the world. He's like, he gave Esau time to fix it and time to get right with the Lord. Because what the Most High is saying here is that, hey, If Esau would have repented, he would have retained his birthright, and he would have had the ability to sit back here and be the top dog on earth. How about that one? But Esau no longer, on one thing, he gave up his birthright because of what he was going through. And he still didn't sit back and change over time and not be bitter about his condition. He stayed bitter. He stayed bitter, and he didn't fix what was inside of him over time. And all he gave, read on, he says, for he found no place of repentance.
For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
All he did was cry and not fix what was inside of him. And the Most High said, because all you did was cry and complain, you had time to fix your outlook, to learn how to be appreciative and see the mercy in the Lord. But because you just cried, I'm not giving you what you want. How many of us are consumed with emotions that we feed instead of making the decision that through our grievous time, you are still responsible to see the good in what the Most High's got you going through. And you're responsible to exercise your outlook so that at the end of the lesson can yield peace and the peaceable fruits of righteousness. We have a job to see the good in the lesson, and that's up to us to exercise our spirit to figure that out.
He cried tears. There were tears from the loss, but there was no contrition. There's no sorrow or pain behind making the decision. Behind the choice. So we'll do one aspect of feeling bad. We'll cry, but we're not making no changes though. We're not changing.
And that's why I kept talking about those tears. We'll cry and feel sad, and the pain. We'll focus on the pain we're going through, versus the lesson that travail was supposed to bring to you. There was a spiritual lesson that we were supposed to learn, and you can't learn the lesson being emotional.
No.
You can't learn a lesson crying. You can't learn a lesson feeling sorry for yourself. You can't learn a lesson being angry. You can't learn any lesson being bitter at the person that's pissing you off. You can't get any spiritual concept at all being emotional. If you're a husband and you're angry at your wife, you're not going to get the lesson to fixing the household being bitter. You're not going to learn to love your husband being bitter. You're not going to get any spiritual clarity being bitter. Even though you're crying, that don't mean nothing. Dawiyah was famous for saying devil's tears, because they really are.
Yep.
Tears are devil's tears if you're not fixing what's inside of you while you're crying. There's nothing wrong with crying as long as you're changing what's going on with you while you're going through suffering. Are you changing your outlook? Or are you just crying and you want sympathy for crying? Anyway, that's what I wanted from verse 17. You got any more?
God. Just on this point, I don't know if you want to keep going.
Can I ask a question?
On this point, I got some more on this point.
I had a question.
Yes, sir.
I went to the bathroom. Were you talking about that he saw it with tears, he cried, but he wasn't making changes?
Yes, because Most High gave him a chance to repent.
So you
From
got
the time he gave up his birthright to the time it was blessing time.
Yeah.
His daddy Jacob was old and couldn't see at that time. That means he had some years in between to say, man, I apologize, Father, for giving up my birthright in the heat of the moment. Most High gave Esau that time, but the Most High didn't reward him because he didn't change from the time that he said, I don't want the birthright because of what I'm going through to the end.
I was trying to rehear that, make sure I understood it, because that's what we do.
That's what we brought it up.
Don't we like cry me a river?
Yeah.
And then we never do the work to fix the problem.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's almost like you cry over the same problem your whole life. That's almost what it comes about. We'll counsel.
Tears ain't good enough.
Tears ain't good enough. But we'll counsel about an issue year 1. And then the spirit will cry till year 10. And then maybe to year 10, 11, they'll want to change it, depending on how bad the rock bottom they get. It's like a series of rock bottoms that have to happen for people that want to actually do the changing work.
Right.
But is the Lord hearing the tears? He's obviously not hearing the tears.
The tears aren't believable.
Okay.
The tears aren't believable because there's no action behind it. There's no changes behind it.
Okay.
So, but the truth of it is, the most I know, you just cry, that's fake tears. You know, because you're still bitter.
Yeah.
You ain't let go of the bitterness.
Okay.
Why you still bitter? He said, but that bitter root was still there. You know what Esau never did? He never cut that root of bitterness. You know what it might have meant something different if he felt bad about losing it and then changed his perspective towards his brother.
That might help him.
That might have helped him a lot.
He probably would
That
have
was
had
a
a chance
key.
to work in the kingdom again.
Yeah. But you know, that root of bitterness was still there. It never got cut down.
But he wanted a reward at the end while not fighting his bitterness.
I want what I lost back, but I don't want to change and let go of the hate that I got in my heart.
Wow, that sounds very familiar.
A lot of people are like that.
So Esau ain't this isolated guy because he's not black.
Yeah, exactly. He's the devil the Bible speaks of.
It's
Right?
not just that.
There's a lot of patterns in that match up.
It's a spirit that he possessed.
The spirit in him is what the Father hates.
Yes. That's why he said, lest any be like Esau, a profane person. Because we could be like Esau.
Yeah.
We could have similar attributes of Esau. Just because we're not Esau, don't mean we can't act like him.
Didn't Christ say, "You of your father the devil"? Who was he talking to?
The Pharisees.
The Pharisees, because they were in a demonic spirit, like the white man, not taking accountability for their actions. So yes, we can definitely be that way.
So we can get caught in this racism idea, but we don't understand what Christ was even saying. What was he saying? You're operating like someone that God hates.
You won't let go of the hate in you.
Because he's saying Esau was a profane person. A profane person is what? A profane person is a person who doesn't treat sacred. He said treat sacred things with abuse and irreverence. Isn't that what we do?
Irreverent.
We have a golden opportunity to get to the kingdom and we spit on it.
No respect.
Because we're bitter and unhappy about the life the Most High gave us. That's a profane person too.
That's irreverent.
A person who doesn't appreciate the good and the opportunity to get close to the Most High is a profane person because they're spitting on everything you got to go through to earn the opportunity to get to the kingdom.
So what you're saying, this is right. So we're not only ingrates.
We're profane.
We're irreverent.
Good.
We have no respect for spiritual things. That's what makes Esau, quote unquote, the devil.
Because profane means irreverent to anything sacred.
Wow. I mean, it's spiritual.
I know.
Spiritual things are sacred.
And our life is spiritual.
Wow.
Our life is spiritual, and we hate all the process we got to go through to obtain the kingdom.
This is why Christ
And we spit on this whole process because we're ungrateful and unappreciative, and we're profane people like the devil.
And this is why Christ said, "You're not going to see the Lord."
That's why you're not.
Because
we're acting like Esau. They ain't gonna see the Lord either. For the same reasons.
Wow.
So because you got dark skin, you make it to the kingdom. Dark skin and dark heart.
It's a black thing.
That ain't how it's supposed to be.
The kingdom is a black thing.
My heart matched my skin.
That ain't enough, man. It's not gonna work.
Man.
You better fix what's inside of your heart and your outlook. Or if you can't, if you got bitterness in your heart, you are a profane person like Esau. Profane means irreverent to anything sacred, applied to person. It says, a man treats sacred things with abuse or irreverence. Are the lessons that the Most High is teaching us, we treat it with abuse and irreverence.
You know what it is?
Everything he puts us through
And the people
is handcrafted to develop your
The
spirit.
people he put in our lives to teach us those lessons, we hate.
We abuse them. We abuse time.
Yep.
We abuse mercy. We abuse grace.
Yep. And then we're crying and we have tears when at the end we've been judged accordingly.
And think that the tears are justified.
Crazy.
Like I'm the victim. Because didn't Esau think he was the victim and the one that was wrong? He's I was wrong.
I got tricked.
They tricked me.
They tricked me.
He gave me delicious meats. What was I supposed to do? It's always an excuse. It's an excuse for forfeiting and not being appreciative for what the Most High's got you responsible for.
You know what? The scripture said there's no excuse. But it don't say there's no excuse. But I understand.
There are inexcusable. Oh, where's your man? The scripture says that.
Yeah,
brother.
But it does say that.
But the beautiful thing is, for all of us that got that negative in us, we have time to fix it. He's given us time to repent. That's the beauty of Christ. So this is not a doom and gloom message. We have a chance to fix it. But Iran's bombing the U.S., bro. We ain't got that much damn time. Yeah? I'm telling you straight up. They are warring, and it's a killing and it's a murdering going on, and it's just starting. So we got time, but we better be exercising these spiritual concepts. We better be exercising our brains, reading scripture, seeing the good in things, and going through all the things in your life and the truth in which you're bitter at, and find some spiritual closure, the spiritual lesson. What was the Most High trying to teach me through these things? That's our lifelong homework assignment. We better commit ourselves to it, because I'm telling you, we got time, but we don't have that much time. Just a couple weeks ago, I was like, man, when is this thing going to happen? This is dragging on. Russia's in flipping Ukraine. This is year 4 in this war. What the hell's going on? Then you look up at Iran's going on like, whoa, this happening quicker than you think. So just know, we have to work on our situation. We don't have as much time as we think. But the Most High is giving us time to repent, like He gave Esau time to repent. And just know, tears and emotion is not going to fix this. Feelings and emotion is not going to get you closer to getting the lesson the Most High is teaching you through these chastening processes.
Yep.
Remove that emotion. Look for the lesson. What is He teaching you? That's how you overcome it.
And to remain unaffected. Go to 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 13.
Yeah. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 13.
Start at verse 10.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. For he that will love life
If you really love your life and appreciate what the Most High has given you, read.
and see good days,
And you want to see good days, read on.
let him refrain his tongue from evil,
It says, watch your mouth. Watch what you let come out of your mouth. Read on.
and his lips that they speak no guile.
It says, and you'll make sure your lips don't speak no guile. Read on.
This is 3 and 13?
3 and 10.
3 and 10.
Read.
Let him eschew evil.
And it says, let him do what?
Eschew evil.
To stay far away from evil as possible.
Not fuel evil. Not fuel evil thoughts.
Or meditate on evil. He said, eschew evil. Meaning, if you got negative thoughts, try to eradicate the negative thoughts as far away from you as possible. Read.
And do good.
And what?
And do good.
Read on.
Let him speak peace.
And let him what?
Let him speak
No,
peace.
it says let him seek peace.
Seek, sorry. Let him seek peace.
And what?
And ensue it.
Follow after what makes peace. Read.
For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous.
It says, for the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous. Go ahead.
And his ears are open unto their prayers.
And the Most High is listening to your prayers if you can stay positive. Read on.
But the face of the Most High is against them that do evil.
But if you can't stay positive, the Most High will be what?
Be against you, bro.
The Most High be against you. So you have to stay unaffected in this evil world. Read on.
And who is he that will warn you?
Harm you.
Sorry. And who is he that will harm you, if ye be followers of that which is good?
So can you really blame Jacob like Esau tried to?
Nope.
Do you really? If you're doing what's good, can anybody take you out of seeking the Most High's will, doing the Most High's will? Can anybody remove that from you? No. You can't be affected. So the idea is to remain unaffected regardless of how bad the world is. You got to stay pure no matter what. Read on.
But, and if ye suffer for righteousness'
It
sake.
says, but, and if you suffer for what?
Righteousness' sake.
But you're going to suffer either way in this world. You're going to suffer no matter what. But it said, but and if you suffer for righteousness' sake, read on.
Happy are ye.
You can still be what? Happy. Because nobody can take your joy.
You have to be happy.
Nobody can rob you from your joy. Because you know why you're doing what you're doing, and you know who you're doing it for. That's why nobody can affect you. Nobody can change your mentality. The only person that can change your mentality is you. You're the only person that can change your outlook.
All facts. And that's why we have to exercise that part of you that's able to yield the peaceable fruit of righteousness. Read verse 11 again. Let's go back to Hebrews 12 and 11. That's all I got, man. Hebrews 12 and 11. I think we've done enough on the topic. It doesn't make sense to keep going back and drilling more information. Let's do real quick Hebrews 12 and 11. Did you have a verse? I'll let you go to verse after this. After this verse, you got it. Huh? Okay. Read that.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous.
It doesn't feel good in any battle that you're going through in the midst of the battle. It's not designed to feel good. Read on.
But grievous.
It is grievous. It's difficult when the Most High is chastening. It's difficult when you're going through travail. It's difficult when the Most High, through travail, is showing you your strongholds, showing you your weaknesses, showing you your Accra in Jerusalem, your Greek tower. There's all these afflictions, the Most High showing you your Greek tower or your many Greek towers. It doesn't feel good to have to see your negative. Read on.
Nevertheless, afterward.
But nevertheless, if you endure the lesson, if you endure the chastisement the right way, afterwards, read on.
It yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness.
He says, if you endure things the right way, afterwards you'll see the peaceable fruit of righteousness. You'll see the lesson behind the suffering, the lesson behind being grieved, the lesson behind the stress, the lesson that you have to learn, the virtue you have to learn in the midst of these strongholds being exposed. Read on.
Unto them which are exercised thereby.
But once again, he's telling you all of the afflictions you go through are exercises of your spirit, exercises of your outlook, exercises of how you process things spiritually. And if you process things right, if you exercise yourself properly, if you study for the proper concepts, if you're honest and you study long enough, you'll start gaining control of your outlook and you'll be able to see at the end what the Most High was trying to teach you. So in the midst of your adversity, put the work in and commit, and you'll get the answers you're looking for spiritually. What you want to say, Ad?
Yes, sir. No, it was just Esau may have blamed Jacob, but Jacob wasn't responsible for what Esau did or didn't value.
What's that?
No, it wasn't.
Esau may have blamed Jacob, but Jacob wasn't responsible for what Esau did or did not value.
Brother.
Didn't change that.
Got him.
No, that was.
Listen, the brother just said that I got to look for it myself. I haven't had time to look into the news lately. They said the Ayatollah got killed.
Ayatollah.
Yes, that's their religious leader. I ain't had a chance to look into it, but if it's true,
Yeah,
bro, this is holy war.
Yeah.
If the Ayatollah got taken out, this is not stopping. You think this is gonna stop? The Ayatollah got taken out, bro. That's crazy. Because they've been taking out generals, they've been taking out presidents,
scientists.
they've been taking out scientists and presidents, but they got the Ayatollah out. We better sit back here,
Pray.
and yeah, we better work on this darkness, right? We better work on this darkness side of us, this bitterness inside of us. I am not even joking. Because you think Iran's gonna fold? Do you really think they're gonna fold that? And regime change things gonna work like that? Yes.
Yeah, it's on the news right now.
Bro.
You
Listen.
know they went. You know, in Iran had they had a ball, they had a big statue of ball, and they put the president's face on it, and they set it on fire throughout the city a couple weeks ago. So
That's crazy, man. Listen, all this is being brought out. We don't have as much time as we think, y'all. We don't have this luxury to sit back and be negative and hold on to grudges. This is not the time to be bitter, petty, angry, not content about the life the Most High gave you. This is not the time, y'all. I'm not trying to sit back here. I'm not joking when it says we don't have the time we think we got. We really don't. And we better take this time to work on as much as we can so that at least we have that as an offering to give to the Most High. There's a verse, if I can find it in Ecclesiasticus. It talks about offerings. And it talks about what is the proper offering to give to the Most High. Y'all can help me with this. This is, here we go. Go to Ecclesiasticus 35 and 8. Or, matter of fact, 35 and 6 down. Matter of fact, read 35 and 1. We're going to read this. This is important. Ecclesiasticus chapter 35, verse 1 through 9. No, 10. 11, shoot. Sorry. Ecclesiasticus 35, verse 1 through 11. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 35 and verse 1.
And the funny thing is, spiritual people pre-Christ understood the same thing Christ and Paul was trying to teach. David understood this. Joseph understood this. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob understood this. But the majority of the nation didn't. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 35 and verse 1. He that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough. He that taketh heed to the commandment offereth a peace offering.
Now, I was going to sit back here. So he's pretty much saying obedience is better than sacrifice. Taking heed to what you're supposed to do is the greatest peace offering you can sit back here and provide. Read on.
He that requiteth a good turn offereth fine flour. And he that giveth alms.
Help me out with requiteth.
To pay back.
So read verse 2 again.
Verse 2. He that requiteth a good turn offereth fine flour.
So a person that's willing to give good to somebody is doing a greater offering than sitting back here and providing fine flour. Okay, read on.
And he that giveth alms sacrificeth praise.
So what he's saying is when you sit back here and give extra, is how you're really praised. Read on.
To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing to the Lord.
So change is the greatest sacrifice you can give to the Most High. Removing this, it's going to get more specific about what change he's looking for. Read on.
And to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation.
To change the negative habits that you carry yourself and do is one of the greatest things you can do to get the Most High's attention. Read on.
Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord. For all these things are to be done because of the commandment.
But now listen, it's going to explain what offering he's really looking for. Now we understand we're supposed to give up the animal. We were supposed to give the animals and all that stuff. But he gets more specific than that. Read on.
The offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat, and the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High. The sacrifice of a just man is acceptable, and the memorial thereof shall never be forgotten.
But we got to find out what this type of sacrifice of a just man, what does it really take to be accepted? Read on.
Give the Lord his honor with a good eye.
Listen, that's the key. You got to be able to give to the Most High with a good eye, with a good outlook. But your outlook has to be pure in what you're giving to him. Too many times we're angry and we're bitter about what we have to lose, what we have to give, what we have to sacrifice. There's not enough contentment in what we're giving to the Heavenly Father. Read on.
And diminish not the first fruits of thy hand. And in all thy gifts show a cheerful countenance.
In everything you do for the Most High, be happy that you're doing it. Be at peace that you're doing it. And too many times we're not content and we're not happy with what we're giving. We're not at peace with what we bring to the table. Read on.
And dedicate thy tithes with gladness.
He says, dedicate thy tithes with gladness. What is he saying? It's everything you give to the Most High has got to be about happiness, a good eye, and being at peace with things. This is the key. Read on.
Give unto the Most High according as he hath enriched thee.
But the point is this. If he's saying to give with a good eye, then I got to give according to how the Most High has enriched thee. But if I don't sit back and see the Most High has done me any good, how can I give with a good eye? In order to give with a good eye, you have to come down to the point where you know that he's done good to me my whole life. Because if I don't believe he's done good to me my whole life, then how can I give with a good eye?
You have to acknowledge the good that he's given. And if you don't acknowledge it, how can you give him a suitable offering?
That's my point. So the key to giving with a good eye is to accept that the Most High has been good to you your entire time. And that you can accept everything you've gone through was meant to build your spirit up, regardless. And if you can come to that realization, that means all your works towards the Most High is good. Everything you do for the Most High is good if you can accept and see the good in what the Most High has done for you. Any other questions? We gotta sit back and look at this Ayatollah thing, man. This is a problem, bro. This is I saw it earlier. It was bad in the morning. Now it's worse in the afternoon. We got to sit back and pray to the Most High and continue to praise Him and appreciate the good He's done for us, and thank Him for His mercy and His grace, and keep working on you, because that's all we can control is our conduct and our outlook and what we do for one another. We can control that. We can't control nobody else but your thoughts and your outlook. With that, Israel, we're going to sit back and send our prayers up. Amajib, Wapanya, Yerushalayim.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
That's real. That's real. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Please listen to us right now.
Please listen to us right now.
Send my God.
Send my God.
And the righteous angels.
And the righteous angels.
To watch over.
To watch over.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal.
Protect.
Protect.
And make strong.
And make strong.
The people of Yasharallah.
The people of Yasharallah.
Also send unto us.
Also send unto us.
Much wisdom.
Much wisdom.
Much knowledge.
Much knowledge.
Much understanding.
Much understanding.
Much patience.
Much patience.
Much faith.
Much faith.
Much brotherhood.
Much brotherhood.
And much love.
And much love.
Spiritual power.
Spiritual power.
And forgive all of our sins.
And forgive all of our sins.
Yahweh Shai come quickly.
Yahweh Shai come quickly.
For indeed.
For indeed.
Is our hope.
Is our hope.
Always.
Always.
And forever.
And forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Ahawa'ah. Natalanawa. Natawara.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Ahawa'ah. Natalanawa. Awar.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us light to see.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Ahawa'ah. Natalanawa. Ha'ayah. Kwara.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Rakta Yahweh Bashim Yahshai.
Ahawa'ah. Natalanawa. Shaman. Zayat. Lamashat. Yasharallah.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
And thy faithfulness every night.
And thy faithfulness every night.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
And upon the psaltery.
And upon the psaltery.
Upon the harp.
Upon the harp.
With the solemn sound.
With the solemn sound.
For thy Yahweh.
For thy Yahweh.
Has made me glad through thy work.
Has made me glad through thy work.
I will triumph.
I will triumph.
In the works of thy hands.
In the works of thy hands.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
How great are thy works.
How great are thy works.
And thy thoughts are very deep.
And thy thoughts are very deep.
A brutish man knoweth not.
A brutish man knoweth not.
Neither doth the fool understand this.
Neither doth the fool understand it.
When the wicked spring is the grass.
When the wicked spring is the grass.
And when all the workers of iniquity do flourish.
And when all the workers of iniquity do flourish.
It is that they shall be destroyed forever.
It is that they shall be destroyed forever.
But thou Yahweh.
But thou Yahweh.
Art most high forevermore.
Art most high forevermore.
For lo thy enemies.
For lo thy enemies.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo.
For lo.
Thy enemies shall perish.
Thy enemies shall perish.
All the workers of iniquity.
All the workers of iniquity
Shall be scattered.
shall be scattered.
But my horn shalt thou exalt.
But my horn shall thou exalt.
Like the horn of a unicorn.
Like the horn of a unicorn.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
Mine eye also shall see.
Mine eye also shall see.
My desire.
My desire.
On my enemies.
On my enemies.
And my ears shall hear.
And my ears shall hear.
My desire.
My desire.
Of the wicked.
Of the wicked.
That rise up against me.
That rise up against me.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
The
righteous shall flourish like the palm
He
tree.
shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
Those that be planted in the house of the Lord
Those that be planted in the house of the Lord
shall flourish in the courts of our power.
shall flourish in the courts of our power.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
To show that the Lord is upright.
To show that the Lord is upright.
He is my rock.
He is my rock.
There is no unrighteousness in him.
And there is no righteousness in him.
By Shem Yahushua.
By Hashem Yahushua.
Psalms 133. Shayar.
Shayar.
Hama'ayawa.
Hama'ayawa.
Laduad.
Laduad.
Ana.
Ana.
Ma. Shawad.
Shawad.
Wama.
Wama.
Na'ayam.
Na'ayam.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Akim.
Akim.
Gam.
Gam.
Yachad.
Yachad.
Tashaman.
Tashaman.
Atawad.
Atawad.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Hara'ash.
Hara'ash.
Yerad.
Yerad.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Hazakwan.
Hazakwan.
Zakwan.
Zakwan.
Aharan.
Aharan.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Payat.
Payat.
Manawafiwa.
Manawafiwa.
Katol.
Katol.
Karamwan.
Karamwan.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Haroria.
Haroria.
Tazayawan.
Tazayawan.
Hayat.
Hayat.
Sham.
Sham.
Tazawat.
Tazawat.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Habaraka.
Habaraka.
Hayayim.
Hayayim.
I will
Hawulam.
By Shem Yahushua.
By Hashem Yahushua. Psalms 133 in English. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Yahweh by Shem Yahushua.
Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Shem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Wakanawa.
Wakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiat.
Wabiat.
Point. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Shem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Wakanawa.
Wakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiat.
Wabiat.
Point. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Shem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Wakanawa.
Wakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiat.
Wabiat.
Point. Turn. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Shem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Wakanawa.
Wakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiat.
Wabiat.
Point. Turn. Birthday hope.
Birthday hope.
Birthday hope shot.
Birthday hope shot.
Birthday hope.
Birthday hope.
Birthday hope shot.
Birthday hope shot.
All knowledge.
All knowledge.
All wisdom.
All wisdom.
All understanding.
All understanding.
All mercy.
All mercy.
All grace.
All grace.
All long suffering.
All long suffering.
All patience.
All patience.
All power.
All power.
From your house.
It's from your house.
All power.
All power.
From your house.
It's from your house.
All power.
All power.
From your house.
It's from your house.
Right shot. Young shot.
Young shot.
The water.
The water.
Man.
Amen.
Circle up. Nagaha, call it.
Saluting out in the heavenly order. Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, why call Yasha'Allah, men of Israel, Aman, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatam.
Kwam Yasha'Allah,
Kwam Yasha'Allah.
Kwam Yasha'Allah,
Kwam Yasha'Allah.
Kwam Yasha'Allah,
Kwam Yasha'Allah.
Yahweh Matah, turn and face the sisters, men of Adam Shabbat,
Say it, everybody.
saluting out the daughters of Zion, Aman, Barak,
Yahweh Shema Lakam by Hashem Yahushua. Yes, Matah, dismiss. Call out. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. I see. Once again, there's no class on Monday. We have Purim, and there'll be class on Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in, y'all, and shalom.